All right. What's going on, everybody? Friday night. Happy Friday to all you dudes and dudettes out there. On tap for tonight, we've got NXT. We've got SmackDown. British Bulldog going into the Hall of Fame this year, according to British Bulldog Jr. Dave Boy Smith Jr. WWE moving wrestling shows. They're going to get out of Tropicana Field and move to Yuengling Center. And we, of course, have the controversial censoring of WWE videos going on Peacock. We will talk about that and more. It is Boxman. It is Smark. And we are your dirt sheet dudes. I'll hit the music as soon as I get it because it looks like I accidentally hit delete. So what I'll do is I'm going to go here. I'm going to turn the music on. Now what we're going to do is we're going to play the music. You ready for this? Huh? You ready? You ready? Are you? Are you? I hope you are. Because here it is.
Total package like Sugar and Super Brawl. Super Saturday? What is it? I don't know what it's called. What is it called?
Super Brawl Saturday.
Super Brawl Saturday?
You don't lose faith in winners. And Ric Flair, day in and day out, every day of his life, just keeps winning and winning and winning. Ric Flair! New York City, Ric Flair! You're gonna find out what hard is all about. I do exactly what I want to do. You say I'm insane. I say thank you very much.
Make a good intro.
I hate God! Hit the deck! Yes! We love you, Scott Steiner! Today, I've got the star and profile like never before.
You guys talk about being students of the game. I am the game, JR.
What's going on out there, everybody? Hope everybody's doing good. Like I said, it is Friday. Holy hell, am I happy it's Friday. I need a Friday. I don't know about everybody else out there, but I definitely need a Friday. Need the weekend. Need a drink and sleep. A little bit of both. I'll be happy when I can do both. Anyway, what is going on? I am Boxman. This is Dirt Sheet Dudes. Across from me over there is Smark, and I think we're going to be all right tonight. Smark, how are we doing tonight, sir? All right, we're doing good, it looks like. Damn it, we just had it going. I don't know where Smark went. Might have gone somewhere real quick. But anyway, he is here. He is mic'd up, or at least he's using an external mic. But anyway, we got him. He'll be back here any minute, I guarantee it. But in the meantime, I guess I can go ahead and start plugs, and I can hope Smark comes back, because it looks like he just accidentally took off out of Skype. So I'm sorry, you're going to have to hear when he calls back. I will keep the old finger on the trigger for the old Skype call. In the meantime, I'm going to start plugs. He'll either come on in and do his or not. So I guess we will find out. Let me go ahead and get something here to rock on and play while we're doing them here. Let's see. Yeah, this one never does anything. All right, let's go ahead and do this right here. All right, we're going to start out with the high marks. That is Cheeseman. That is G-Wiz. That is Mojo. I want y'all checking those guys out. Sundays, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Where? Mixler.com/metalmit Network, that's right. There's 2 T's in Mitt. Definitely be checking them out. Once again, mixer.com/metalmit Network, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Sunday nights. Be checking out the high marks over there. And Bobby Anthony and Bobby Blades on the Inhuman Experience. Go check out those Inhumans on all the usual podcast platforms out there. You know, Apple, iHeart, Stitcher. You know where it all is. Google. And you can also check out the Everything Unscripted Wrestling podcast. They are on all the usual podcast platforms also, and on Blog Talk Radio. So go over there and check them out over there. Just type in Everything Unscripted Podcast. It will not even let you finish typing. Check them out. And Stephen Milan, appreciate you sharing the show. Letterboxd.com/Stephen Milan, 2 L's in Milan. He's over there reviewing movies. You want to be checking him out. And you can always review us. You can review us on YouTube, everywhere else like that. You can get us on Spreaker, Stitcher, iHeart, Spotify, Google, TuneIn, Player FM, Anchor, anywhere you guys find podcasts. We are hopefully there. If we're not, let us know. We'll get there. All right. There you go. Don't know again. I'm not quite sure what's going on with Smark here, but it looks like he's still online, so he'll probably come on back. We will find out very, very soon, obviously. But in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and get rolling here. I'm going to go ahead and start out with NXT. Got to tell you, I didn't. I should look this up real quick. I really didn't. Check the ratings for the, Wednesday night ratings for, check out the Wednesday night ratings. I actually forgot to grab those. Wednesday ratings. There we go. That's all we need. Wednesday ratings, AEW. Let's check it out. We got it right here. We'll hit news, and then we'll go right from there. Okay, I got it from 3 hours ago. AEW did beat NXT one more time. Let's see what we're looking at here. We're looking at 757,000 for AEW, and NXT. NXT had a good little rise in ratings, up to 678,000 viewers. That was pretty good for them. That was a pretty good little night for them. Not bad. AEW once again did beat them though. I wouldn't say horribly, but almost 90,000, I guess that is. But, not too bad. I got to tell you, though, I think wrestling-wise, action-wise, to me, NXT was a much better show. There really wasn't that many. Again, I said, Wednesday night, I said there weren't really that many matches on AEW. There was a lot more talking segments, a lot more backstage segments. I really felt that this had more wrestling and was a bit more interesting of a show, to be honest with you. I'm a little surprised NXT didn't not win, but I'm glad they got a little more of a rating, but I really think they could have gotten, I think they should have gotten a little bit better of a rating. I really thought this was a really good show this week. Now, I was kind of forced to watch the Hulu version, so I apologize whatever I missed, but I couldn't get the other version working on, I don't have cable anymore. So, kind of working with some stuff that's not working exactly well. Basically, I'm watching off something called Kodi, and you go in and you put little clients in it. But for some reason, it didn't have NXT last week, didn't have NXT this week, didn't have Raw last week. I had to obtain Raw, which I did. So anyway, that's why I did have to watch the Hulu version of NXT. So that's what you're going to get tonight. I apologize. Anyway, we start out with a little bit of Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez versus Zoe Stark and Io Shirai. And it's funny. Raquel Gonzalez is a bigger, she's wider and more jacked than all the other girls, but you really don't realize how tall she is until she's in there with 3 other smaller women. That's when you really see that she's not only, big in stature, she's also a tall girl too. She towers over everyone in this match. I'm still very impressed with Zoe Stark. Really, really see a lot. I wouldn't doubt if she was NXT Women's Champion either by this time next year or around this time next year. I really wouldn't. I think they see something in her. She really didn't do any. I mean, she didn't need training, obviously. She knows what the fuck she's doing. Really, really impressed with this Zoe Stark. Raquel did pin Zoe, and then she stares down Io right in the middle of the ring there. Dakota Kai goes to run in. Io just turns around and lays her out. And then Raquel comes in and gives the old, running kick to Io, picks her up, throws her, drops her spine first, it looked like, right onto the announce table. Not just on the announce table, that little, like window cover part where, the NXT symbol is. Right there, and it just looked like it fucking hurt. But Raquel Gonzalez just absolutely, every match she's in lately, they're making her out to be the beast, and she's definitely working through it. And I'm really liking it, man. I've been praising her for a while, and I actually think her and Zoe would have a really, really good feud together. I would not mind seeing that one damn bit. So, after that, we get a little footage. A lot of this show tonight was still Undisputed Era heavy. They're still trying to get those new. Let me hit pause on the music here. I just realized I didn't do that. Sorry about that. Didn't have volume, but forgot to hit pause. Really heavy still on the Undisputed Era storyline with Cole and Roderick and Kyle O'Reilly. Bobby Fish, not so much. He's still out. Now, we see the footage of Kyle O'Reilly. He's training for, in his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu school. He's training the MMA. And we see Adam Cole walk in, and they just start fighting. So not only did Kyle O'Reilly know where Adam Cole bought his damn video games, Adam Cole knew where Kyle O'Reilly did Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Aha. There we go. So literally they just know where to find each other all the time. So there you go. After that, we see Kyle. He's backstage. He's got these 2 security guys with him. And Roger comes up and he's like, man, dude, after all the shit that Cole's put us through, man, we need to go out there and just kick his ass. And O'Reilly's like, yeah. But just so you know, there is no us. You could see Roderick. This just pissed him off. He was fuming. And, you could just see it. Roderick says O'Reilly and Cole, both of them can go to hell. So, still not. I still think Roderick Strong is unintimidating and laughable, but that's just me. I might be weird. I apologize for that. So, we got that there. Still hoping Smart comes back. I'm going to keep my phone handy here. See if he messages me. So far, he hasn't. All right, let's keep rolling here. Sorry about that. We get Karrion Kross out there with Scarlett. That woman, another very well put together woman right there, Scarlett, versus Oney Lorcan. And I got to tell you, man, Oney in this match, if you saw Karrion Kross's chest after this match, you saw how hard Oney Lorcan was laying in those chops. Even got one over on his left side of his neck. You saw like 2 landed there, but that last one, welted up his neck on Karrion Kross, man. Absolutely just hard as hell Lorcan was hitting this guy. Oh, let's see here. Hold on. Let's see if we got Smark back here. What's up, Smark?
There you go.
All right. Smark's a little bit tinny tonight, but we're going to deal with it. I can probably get rid of a little bit of that post-show. Now, Smark, I kind of started out a little bit on NXT here. I'm talking about, did you see Karrion Kross's chest after this Oney Lorcan match?
Yeah, that was pretty messed up, huh?
That's what?
I said, yeah, I did see that. That was pretty messed up. It was like dark.
Oh, my God. And now he had one on his neck. And now,
right.
I don't know if you saw that hit, but it was kind of the last little set of chops that Lorcan did on him. And you saw him miss and just nail his neck. Now, he was bleeding, just blood from the front of his neck. He was bleeding. I mean, the blood was just dripping down the front of all the way down to his fucking trunks, basically. But, man, Oney Lorcan put a fucking chop fest on that man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it did not look fun.
No, it didn't. But I really, I know a lot. Oney Lorcan gets a lot of shit online, which I'm kind of surprised. He kind of seems like what everyone online would actually be really into. But, oh, man, absolutely just, he was brutal in this match. And I don't know, man, after just literally looking at the chest of Karrion Kross after this goddamn match, you had to have some respect for Oney Lorcan, man.
I don't think the problem is so much his ability. He's a good wrestler. He just didn't have any real personality or like defining characteristics that kind of make him stand out.
Yeah, if I remember, he was Biff Busick on the Indies, right?
Okay.
That was him, right? Okay. Look at that. I got a memory. And that's a pretty fucking tough name. So I guess you need to learn how to chop the shit out of some people if you're going to have a name like Biff Busick. Or a name like Oney Lorcan. I think both you probably have to be pretty tough for. So there we go there. And I think Smart hit mute one more time here. Now, we get all that. Now, after the match is over, Kross does end up getting a win here. But just unbelievable. Like I said, he gets the win. And Balor comes out, and he's just Balor walks out. He stands right in front of Lorcan, who's just kind of laying there. And then, he comes out, and but before that, we get Karrion Kross, and he addresses Mr. Balor, as he calls him. Mr. Balor is who it is, Mark. You like that one, Mr. Balor?
I do. Yes.
I thought it was pretty interesting myself. Mr. Balor. He was very, very polite, very proper.
Sure.
It was the usual promo, no stopping me, blah, blah, blah. But then, like I said, Balor had walked out. And he said, you gave me your best last week, and I'm still fucking standing. I added the fucking part. But I think he wanted to say it. He looked like he wanted to say it either way. So, he said that, and then he comes in the ring, and he was talking some shit about emotions. I got emotions. You got emotions. We're emoting. We emote. I like the emotion, the emotion, the mote of the emotion. Oh,
Would you say that there were emotions in motion?
Absolutely. I was lost in emotion. It was a loco emotion.
There you go.
Fucking ridiculous, all this shit. But I do have to say, it's amazing sitting here watching NXT continue to build storylines for Stand and Deliver while we have the main roster WWE literally just announcing matches like less than a week ago.
Right.
It's just kind of weird to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm just like, wow, look at NXT like preparing and shit. Look how that goes, Mark.
I mean, and not only putting the storylines in place, but like actually giving you a reason to care and making the people involved in the matches actually move.
Yeah. They're actually giving you a lot of reasons to give a shit about this show, and I'm telling you, man, this show is lining up to be a damn good show. maybe next week we'll go over the cards. I just don't think it's worth it just tonight, but maybe next week we'll jump in and go over that. But yeah, that was great match by those two. Just haven't seen a lot of Oney Lorcan do shit like that. And I guess his partner, Danny Burch, is injured now, right?
I'm not sure.
I think it might be. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Nope. If you're talking, I can't hear you.
Oops. Better? Worse? Better?
Yeah. Better-ish.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm not entirely sure about that, honestly, to answer that question. I thought I might have heard a little bit of something about that, but I can't tell you for sure what it is and how long.
All right. Well, we'll find out. I'm sure it'll hit the old dirty sheets in a while. After that, we get Regal sitting at his desk. He's going to give us some information on who's facing Johnny Gargano for the North American Championship over there at Stand and Deliver. Again, building the hell out of shit. Well, this was kind of an announced match, though, so I'm not really gonna shit on this. Now, this was you want to talk about convoluted, Smark. Try taking notes on this. I'm glad I was watching on Hulu. I got to pause. Okay, so here's what it's going to be at Stand and Deliver, Smark. You ready?
Yes, let's go.
The final match is going to end up being a gauntlet battle royal. But here's what's going to happen. So it's a gauntlet and a battle royal, but here's how it's going to happen. We're going to start out with a 12-man battle royal, right?
Mm-hmm.
The final 6 in that battle royal, which I'm assuming this 12-man battle royal, if they have any brains, they're all just going to start the fucking match together, not going to, come out there and shit like a rumble. I'm thinking that's what they're going to do, obviously. The final 6 in that Royal Rumble that don't get thrown over the top rope, they're going to qualify for the gauntlet part of the match, the gauntlet eliminator. The gauntlet, I'm sorry. Now, the order they're thrown out of the Rumble, again, after it's the final 6, I called it a Rumble. The Battle Royal will be, that's going to determine their entry into the gauntlet match. Mm-hmm. And then the gauntlet match is just the usual gauntlet match. They come out, I think they said every 3 minutes.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, every 3 minutes someone's going to come out. So there you go. And the winner of the gauntlet match, which this is all next week, is going to face Johnny Gargano.
Now, can you tell that they used to have people that worked for Impact that are now working for them? This is very much a TNA-esque idea of, like, it reminded me of that shit when they used to do that, where you had to, like, fight to be able to get in the ring, and then they did, like, a battle royal or some shit like that.
Yeah. And yes, as see, Super Sasha Baron Corbin is saying it is a Rumble with the only way to be eliminated is pin or submission. So it's not really a Rumble because in a Rumble, the only way to win is to throw them over the top rope. So I think it's the last 2 that need to win by. Now, obviously, it's a gauntlet match, so pin or submission. So don't start confusing me, man. I've had a few shots. I'm a little bit high. Leave me alone. All right, motherfucker? Take it easy there, Super Sasha Baron Corbin.
Nothing's going to help the ratings problem. Quite like a convoluted list of roles.
Oh, I'm sitting there like, what? And I guess we should get the 12 people in the Rumble real quick. I didn't pull that up. I probably should have. Let's see. NXT Battle Royal 2021. Let's see what happens there. No, that's not going to work. Hold on here. I'll pull up some results and then we'll get it from there. But meantime, we can move on and then that's what we'll do, Smark. Smark, you got your computer handy there to pull those up real fast and hit them in Messenger for me? I appreciate that. I'm going to go ahead and move on while we're doing that so we're not sitting here putting the proverbial brakes on the show, if you know what I mean. So we come out. It's Walter versus Drake Maverick. They show a little scene where I guess Killian Dane is missing. Drake Maverick, for some reason, breaks into Imperium's locker room, and he's like, where is he? And suddenly he hears I guess he felt the ground rumble behind him. It's Walter, and he's like, "Oh shit!" And Walter just kind of gets in his face, like, "Do you know what you're doing? Do you know who we are? Are you fucking crazy?" So it's Walter versus Drake, and I took one note for the match, Smark.
No.
This was a painful squash for Drake Maverick, and that was it.
Pretty much. And so much so that I even saw that there was a tweet about an hour or two after NXT Drake Maverick just said I'd stall. Like that was the gist of it.
It was. You know, I know this guy was probably very happy to get his contract re-signed again after what he went through. You know, being released, doing the video. But I got to tell you, if that was me, right after I had to literally shed tears on video, show myself that way, and then you come up and give me a fucking pity contract, I would tell you to pound fucking sand. Kick fucking rocks. Fuck you. Fuck you. You want to pity me and give me a contract so it's good PR for you guys? I'm sorry. And I got to tell you, I think Drake Maverick every now and then is thinking, I could have been at AEW. I could have gone to ROH. I could go back to the fucking UK.
Yeah, I'm curious. I don't think they have a lot going on right now.
Oh, man, I just, you know what? Try getting a bit closer to the mic. See if that helps a little bit. Because it's just kind of a little echoey and hard to understand.
Let's see. My face is essentially pressed up against the computer screen.
Okay, don't do that. Well, that sounded a little better, actually. I heard exactly what you said there.
I found the 12 people for that Gauntlet Battle Royal shenanigan McJigger.
There you go. Okay, let's. I'll tell you what. Before we get into the rest of this, let's go ahead and knock out the 12 participants in the thingamajigger.
The old thingamajigger. Okay, so we got Jake Atlas from WrestlingInc.com. We got Jake Atlas, Isaiah Swerve Scott, Leon Brock, Austin Theory, Dexter Loomis, Tyler Russ, Kushida, Pete Dunne, Roderick Strong, Bronson Reed, your favorite, La Knight, of course, and my favorite old Cameron Grimes.
Cameron Grimes. All right.
It's finally back. We want 2 long Cameron Grimes this week, and now we got Cameron Grimes in abundance.
See, now that was the best thing about the Hulu version. I heard I missed a Bronson Reed LA Knight match.
It's not as bad as you would have thought. It didn't take super long. Knight's a little bit more agile than I thought he was. He did that old thing that Shelton Benjamin used to do when he jumped to the top of the top rope from the mat. Except instead of doing a superplex or whatever, like that Shelton Benjamin would do, Bronson Reed just pushed him off the top rope. So he jumped to the top rope from the mat and then got pushed back down and then lost the match. So I think you would have actually appreciated that because they did end up having him lose.
Yeah, there's not much he could do to impress me.
Fair enough.
Yeah. He wants to impress me, fucking quit.
Draw up one of those there resignation notices.
That impressed me. That guy's got some chutzpah. Oy vey. Anyway. Here, can you pop that in Messenger real quick?
I'll just send you the full recap then, I guess.
Well, I just want to pull that up and see if maybe we can really quick. I mean, got a little time tonight. We don't have a lot of news tonight. The main thing we're going to get into is the WWE WWE Peacock controversy of the matches being a little edited. So I think some people might be a little surprised at what I'm going to say. But anyway, we'll go ahead and do that. I got Messenger pulled up here whenever you're ready, Smart. There it is. And let me pull that up. I kind of maybe see who we think the last 6 are going to be. Let's see here. We got that. Okay, we got the 60. Okay, here we go. All right. So you named them already, Smark. Let's see who we think the 6 that are going to be the finals is probably going to be. I guess what you need to think about is who they're pushing right now. Right. I think I can name the 6 right now. I bet you can too. Let's let's start right here. I think Swerve won.
I want him to be, but I don't know.
He's getting a push right now. You know, they're doing this whole thing. He's been back doing the kind of video packages and shit. I'm going with Swerve. Leon Ruff, no. Austin Theory's another one I'm going with. They're pushing him. I'm definitely Loomis. They're definitely going to have that Theory-Loomis dynamic in that match. Let's see. It leaves Rust, Kushida. I have 3 more to pick. Rush, Kushida. I'm going to go with Cameron Grimes, Pete Dunne, and LA Knight. That's my 6. Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go through. I'll go through. Mine's going to be different than yours.
Okay.
Not going with Atlas. Not going to go with Swerve, unfortunately, although I think they should. They like having Leon Ruff and things. I'm saying Ruff's going to make it. That's 1. Loomis could be 2. No Theory, no Rust. I'm going to say Kushida 3. Grimes 4. Then it becomes tough. Let's say he goes strong and night.
Strong. Oh. All right. Sasha Baron Corbin jumped on in. Old SSBC, as we're going to call him from now on, and not have to say that fucking name. There's too many in there. He's got Loomis, Theory, Dunn, Grimes, LA Knight, and Kushida. Kushida's an interesting one.
Yeah.
Because I'd like it. I'd like that. I got no issues with that.
I think the only universal one that we all picked was Grimes, which means Grimes isn't going to make it for some fucking weird reason.
And I'll tell you what, I'm really thinking of taking out Grimes and throwing Bronson Reed in there, man.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he makes it too. That's the thing, though, is that pretty much everybody, with the exception of maybe Atlas, it's conceivable that they could make it in.
Yeah, even Atlas. I mean, he had a little bit of a storyline lately. This could actually push a little bit more of a storyline for him. Even he's got let's face it. The one good thing about that match is everyone's got a shot. That's a good thing.
Right. Which is kind of a compliment to what they've been doing, where they make everybody look at least somewhat credible.
Yeah. Now, the only way they're not going to have the Loomis Theory thing, which could be 2 more, is if they're going to have a separate match at Stand and Deliver anyway. So, see, there's another dynamic. You could take those 2 out, and I hate to say it, you could even put Rust and even Strong. I would put Rust and Strong if you took those 2 out.
Right. I was having the same kind of problem when I was trying to think between Strong and Dunn, because I feel like that's a match too.
Yeah, I don't know. That is too.
Because they've been having them feud for a while. The Undisputed Era and the Pack or whatever they want to call them.
Yeah, I don't know. And now you can think about it. Look, okay, they've been. I mean, is Dunn too good to be in that match? Is he going to have his? There's so much shit. Dunn to take on. You know what? I hate to say this, but I think you're right with Strong being in there, and I got to tell you, with all this shit going on in the Undisputed Era, things happening with the heavy presence of Undisputed Era lately, Strong might end up winning this whole fucking thing and going against Gargano.
Could be.
Strong might end up winning this whole thing. I see him winning it. I mean, I'm not a fan, but I'm just kind of going with the way the show's rolling here. So anyway, let's. I guess we'll have to see what happens next week. But that's making me want to watch. Yeah, that was cool. Glad we did that. Like I said, we don't have a ton to get into. Might as well throw some shit in there to do that with. Anyway, we're through the Walter Drake match right up until the match is over and Ciampa comes down. I liked what Ciampa was saying here. He said a couple weeks ago, I said, you intrigue me. And he's like, no. What you just did to Maverick, that intrigues me. You killed the motherfucker. I like that. Again, Ciampa is always he looks like a grandfather. But he's like the...
Better be calling him old man Ciampa. That's what he's calling himself.
Yeah, but he also looks like the grandfather that would literally be able to break every bone in your body if you fucked with him.
But the kind of, you know what the kind of scary thing about that is? So it's like he's only in, like, he's 30s.
Yeah, he's like the same age as Roman. I mean, look,
He
Gene.
just took a lot out of him. Just has a lot of impact on his body, so he just looks a little bit older. Like, he doesn't look like shit at all. It just looks like somebody that's been through a lot.
Listen, let's be completely honest here. Roman has very good, lucky genes. Because we've said this before. When you're Samoan, you either look like Roman Reigns or Yokozuna in the heavy days. Or Umaga or something. Really, there's no in between. It's either that or that. You know, you've either got the big giant Samoan or Roman Reigns. Roman was very lucky. He's got good genes. I mean, Ciampa just looks like, he losing his hair. Yeah, it's genetic. Nothing he can do about it. Graying beard. Genetic. Nothing he can do about it. Good genes. Different genes. I'm not going to say Ciampa has bad genes. I would die to be as fucking ripped as he is, so can't really say, oh, look a piece of shit. No. He's just got a little regressive gene in the balding and a little gray going on. But you know what? It fits him. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Everybody else that's on that roster, it's kind of a good thing for him because it makes him stand out. Because, like, everybody else kind of looks, young and perky and forward. He comes out, he looks like he's like an old battle-tested Viking. He's got, like, the gray beard and, all that shit, and scars here and there. It's good stuff.
Which is why he can come out and play that locker room leader, and you believe it because, might be one of the younger guys in there, but he still just has that look like he has that presence of just being a knowledgeable, older, wiser man.
Mm-hmm.
So again, but he's also a sadistic son of a bitch. Obviously, he did challenge Walter to a match at TakeOver for the UK Championship, which kind of gives it away that obviously. Is there a reason to send Ciampa to the UK for a couple of months, weeks? No?
I mean, you would think so. And I mean, I'm not saying for sure that I think Ciampa's going to win, but I mean, like, it does make sense that you would think that because it's for the UK belt that they're going to have him. But they've done things before where they've had belts that are just kind of defended here and there that might not necessarily belong. They've been doing the cruiserweight belt for forever now. It just became their belt. So, like, they have belts kind of float from here and there to different NXT UK, 205 Live, that kind of thing.
Yeah, you're right. So, but I just don't see why they would have the UK. They've got the champion there. I don't know how long he's going to be here, Walter. I don't know how long I don't know what his status is. But I got to tell you, it was cool when Walter started just walking away, kind of brushing off the challenge, and he gives the old head nod, and Imperium starts beating Ciampa down, and then Walter gets in his face and accepts.
Yes.
Which
give me some time to mull it over. Okay, now that my guys have taken you out, I'll go ahead next.
Yeah, why not? Now's not a bad time to do this. I just think it's always funny. We're going to have two sadistic son of a bitches in this match at Stand and Deliver. Going to be a good one. Definitely going to be a great match with these two. You got the hard-hitting Walter. You got Ciampa, who I've said before, the name Tommaso Ciampa and great matches are synonymous together. They sort of meld with each other. Even back to his old days, just a badass motherfucker. So gonna love this match right here. Walter also known for not minding when guys lay shit in. I mean, that's basically what got him started, was that match with PCO in GCW, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Yeah, actually, it was at one of the spring breaks.
The spring breaks. Yeah.
Yeah, it was that match was what kind of put him on the map. So that's Walter ain't afraid to get hit and give it back. Obviously, Now, this Robert Stone thing, once again, I kind of feel bad for the guy. I know he's worth more than this. I know he is. We've seen him in Impact, but we see him backstage. He's paying Mercedes Martinez. We all know before she, did the whole Retribution thing and everything. She was with him in kind of the little stable he had going of women, which kind of weird seeing a guy managing all these women, but also something that probably should be done. Now, her and Aaliyah, since she's been paid, Smark, she's going to go for the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships with Aaliyah. Stone only gives her half the money, and Martinez is like, I'm going to expect the other half after the match. Now, that ain't how I can't see a Mercedes Martinez really doing that, by the way. I think
no. That's not really what a wrestler does. That's what a mobster does.
I think, mobster's like half now, half after the hit's done. That's how that goes. You said mobster, not monster, right?
No, yeah, I did say mobster. Right?
Okay, I'm like, okay, making sure we're talking the same thing here. Half now, half after we show you the picture of him bleeding on the fucking floor. Yeah, of the bar. Anyway, I can't see a Mercedes Martinez really being like, nope, you give me everything or go fuck yourself. But there we go with that. Anyway, we get the match. It's against, obviously, the champions right now, Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart. I got to tell you, at some points in this match, I was thinking, are they going to hotshot these titles and just immediately devalue them? For a minute there, I thought they were going to. Wasn't that long of a match before Ember retained, pinning Aaliyah. But I got to tell you, one of the funniest things was Robert Stone throwing the tantrum ringside. I don't know if you caught it.
I did, yes. It was good.
Amazing. Just almost on the ground kicking his shoes off. It was great. He's, again, worth way more. Yeah, what?
Just fucking flailing all around like a fish out of water.
Yes, slamming his hands on the mat. It was that caught my eye more than anything else. Now, Smart, after that, we got your boy. We got Cameron Grimes back there in the locker room with Roderick Strong. And he's trying.
Just a complete just fucking line, Chris. Just none and then all. There's just no middle ground.
No, but again, they've got Cameron Grimes. He's trying to spend more money. And I actually thought this was not a bad idea of his to try to do. She's trying to buy the merch rights to the Undisputed Era logo and name and all that shit. And, he's talking about, we can do T-shirts and this, and coffee mugs and dildos and fleshlights. All right, I added the last two. And Roderick Strong just loses his shit and kicks his ass, which, Jesus Christ, I don't think Roderick could kick his own ass. Anyway, but that was that little segment. I'm sure you like that one, little Grimes for you. Little Cameron Grimes.
Well, absolutely, yes. Not only did we get Cameron Grimes this week, but we also got the assurance that there's going to be more Cameron Grimes next week because they put up that little graphic that it's going to be even stronger.
Wonderful. All right. So there we go. There we go with that. We got one more little segment left here. Now, to kind of back story this segment a little bit, if you remember last week, we were treated to Regal inviting Cole and O'Reilly Smark to NXT this week to work shit out, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. The wife's got a shot here, so I don't give me a second here. She's pouring, so let's give me a minute here. Now, Regal is like literally lecturing these guys. Love Angry Dad Regal. I don't know about you, but I do.
Of course, yes.
Yeah. Angry Dad Regal is great, and I love this. So we get Angry Dad Regal out there lecturing the children, the children being O'Reilly and Cole. So here, give me 1 second. Let me take this shot and give my son a quick goodnight hug. Here, buddy. One over here, one over there, and one right there. I love you, kid. All right. Now my daughter wants a hug. See, this is a chain reaction in my family. Once you give one hug, you got to give everyone a hug.
Once you pop, you can't stop.
All right. Well, she wanted to give her brother a hug, so that's fine too. Anyway, let me give a little clink here to the wife. Take a shot.
Cheers.
Oh, much better. Colder. Not all the way cold, but colder.
That's kind of like special glass you got there?
What?
Some kind of special glass you got there?
No, we keep it in the freezer.
Ah, right
But
on.
she bought it tonight after I got home. So it's getting colder, but it's just not ice cold. So anyway, she wants a piece of my ice from my cooler, my daughter. And she's got it. Anyway, sorry about that, everybody. I come on. I got kids. What am I going to do? Anyway, we Dad Regal. And the main thing he's really upset about, Smark, like any good dad would be, is that the police got involved.
Yes.
Can't believe you got the
I
cops
tricked
involved.
them as though they had a raucous house party. It was like, yeah, the fucking cops showed up too.
Right. You bastards had a keg party, you and your friends, and the cops called me. Wake me up. Okay. Me and your mother were sleeping.
I have any idea what time of night it is.
Oh, I can't wait to say these things to my kids. Anyway.
Just trying your best to suppress like the pride while still trying to be angry. Like, do you know what you did? It was pretty cool. But what you did?
I really hope my kids don't worry me like I know I worried my parents.
Oh, you know it will. It comes full circle.
That's my hope, is that I don't have to worry about that. And really, I got two good kids, so it should be all right. I should be all right. Meanwhile, well, I don't know, man. My younger one has that go along, get along, hey, let's go party, everybody thing. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But anyway, after all Dad Regal did, he offered them a match at night 2 of TakeOver. Regal slaps the contract in front of Cole. Now, I got to tell you, I'm not the biggest Cole fan. You know that, Smart.
Mm-hmm.
But this promo here was great. I really think it was. He's talking about being born blind, and then suddenly you wake up and you can see one day, and he sees the light. We were brothers, and you're just a lapdog of mine. Everything about this, it was passionate. They were loco emotional. It was great. And, I let you comment on that before we go to O'Reilly.
Sure. I mean, I think it works. I think it just works. It fits his character well, basically, because, like, I forget if it was last week or 2 weeks ago, whatever, but a couple weeks ago, he was basically saying that the whole Undisputed Era thing dies with him.
Right.
Like, even if he's the only one, it's still his statement. So I like the idea of him basically just being like, you guys were the fucking backup singers. This was my show the entire time. I was the guy who made this. I'm the star. Like, I carried all of you motherfuckers. It just works for his character, I think.
Yeah, I thought so too, man. I really, really do. I really thought it was nice. It was good. It was good. It was good to watch. I liked it. And again, I'm not the hugest Adam Cole fan, but man, when someone brings that passion, brings that fire into a promo, you just can't fucking deny it, man. It's undeniable. He finally signed the contract. I'm not sure if I said that or not, but he did. Cole signs the contract. And then we get O'Reilly. And I thought O'Reilly was really good here. Not as good as Cole. O'Reilly seemed a little more memorizing lines than Cole. Cole seemed really off the cuff, really passionate, really intense. O'Reilly seemed a little more robotic, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of him. To be fair, that's kind of how he does his promos. He's not the most charismatic. He's that middle ground between like a Roderick Strong and Cole.
Oh, I mean, he's a MMA hipster kind of guy, and I guess they would be a little bit boring. But I also thought what he said was good. We got the little history lesson on Undisputed Era. He says he grew up, and that's kind of why he's doing what he's doing. He was tired of pissing everyone off. Again, he's kind of like, how long can you keep doing that for? Eventually, you're just going to make a bunch of enemies. Grow the fuck up. Love the part, another great line. I sold my soul for the Undisputed Era, and I want it back. Thought that was a great fucking line from him. Then he signs, and we end up with them being held back like the cover of No Holds Barred or something. I don't know. It was good, though. It was good. I like the ending here. But yeah, we had both a bunch of officials holding both of them back. They were really close to each other's faces, but still being held back. So I thought it was a cool little sight for the ending.
I thought so too. What I was curious.
Come on. Oh, were you talking there? You completely cut out.
Oh, no.
All right. You're still cutting out a little bit, but that's all right. But yeah, like I said, I think NXT actually action-wise, storyline-wise, I really think it was a better show than AEW. Like I said, AEW didn't have a ton of matches this week. They had a lot more backstage, maybe storyline building, which they need. But I think NXT was a better show when it came to the wrestling and the matches.
Yeah, I think that's kind of fair.
Yeah,
it didn't seem like there was a lot going on with the AEW show. It just kind of felt like it was one of those kind of places where it was like getting one bridge to the other. They're not quite starting to set up their pay-per-views yet, or their pay-per-view rather yet. So right now it's just sort of killing time, and they're just coming off the heels of that big match last week. So it's kind of one of those where it wasn't bad, but it was just kind of a little bit uneventful.
Well, and look, I know wrestling shows are entertainment. That's what we're here for, the entertainment of it. But you got one show that was a lot more entertainment. You got one show that's usually more entertainment and ended up being more wrestling this week.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm
speaking
saying.
Of, since I didn't get the opportunity to complain about it, I would just like to offer a hug in relation to the Cody reality show.
Oh, yes. I mean, you never got to say much on Wednesday, but get on closer to that mic and say what you want to say.
Like, I understand why they're doing it. I understand that it gives them the opportunity to sort of reach a demographic that's not always there. Because, like, they were talking about on The Observer that when they started doing, like, Total Divas and shit, and the Miz and Mrs. and whatnot, and they started having their reality shows in WWE, it started bringing more of the female audience to their shows. Mm-hmm. And they're also saying that AEW recently, the last couple of weeks, they've been losing some of the female viewership. So I get the idea of, from a business perspective, why they would do something like this, but the idea of just more Cody being on television, just, I don't know who at that network likes him, but they really fucking like him. Mm. And it's like,
well, if you want my opinion on that, I think Tony Khan has a lot of pull at TNT. More than you think.
Might be. I mean, they got him 2 fucking separate shows. He's hosting that game show. He's hosting that reality show.
Well,
he's all
in very slight fairness and possibly arguing semantics, the other one is on TBS, I believe. Isn't it? Or is it on that same station?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it does. But I don't know. I mean, they're obviously like, the
same thing. But again, I said this may be arguing semantics, but
oh no, I see what you're saying. But so it's not like they're completely building the whole channel around him. But
not yet.
No, they're gonna need something when they get rid of when they stop having the Impractical Jokers.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, you got to have something. And I'm glad we're talking about this because again, you did not get to speak on this the other night. I did talk about it, but really quickly, we were still getting some information. Now, it does look like they've been obviously having this idea since the beginning, because some of the stuff they were showing was very early. I mean, some of it was pre-tattoo Cody.
Mm-hmm.
So they've been recording this the whole time. This must have been in the works as AEW was kicking up. Now, again, I mentioned this Wednesday. I always find it funny that Cody says, he fucks with Triple H and, he doesn't want to be that guy, but always this is very, look at me, look at my family. Don't forget we're here. This is very vapid, Triple H-ish, Stephanie-ish, WWE-ish. Now I get what they're doing. More revenue. TV time, commercials, ads, money, revenue. But yeah, it's a little ridiculous. I didn't mean to cut you off. Please go ahead.
No, I was just going to totally agree with you. It's basically he keeps continuing to build monuments to his narcissism. Like, it's just always look at me. I have to be front and center. Me here, me. And it's like, I saw somebody put, okay, so he's not going to be Triple H. He wants to be a lesser version of The Miz. So I was like, yeah, it's kind of where he's going with this, I guess.
Yeah, I said Wednesday it's a little bit of Miz and Maurice, which I haven't ever watched. So now I'll tell you, I haven't watched an episode of that show, which I probably should, but I may watch an episode of this just to see what it's like. Now SSBC in here is saying the name of the show is Goofy. I believe the name of the show, I don't have anything. Roads to the Top, spelled with the Rhodes name. It is a stupid name. It actually doesn't make much sense.
No, because it's like, what is that? It's supposed to be like a play on words, but like for what? There's no adage. There's no idiom.
Also, this is implying that Cody thinks he's the top guy, which, you can't deny it. I don't know how much he put into it or what his actual role in the company is. I don't know. I really don't. He probably has a piece of this company. I don't. Again, we don't need to know how much right now. It's a private company. I don't give a shit. But obviously, the road to the top. I guess in the end, it's going to end up with him being on top. It's better than being a bottom, if you know what I mean.
I feel like a bottom having to put up with this shit.
Yeah, I'd much rather be a top than a bottom. So.
I feel like I feel like a bottom. I feel like he's making me he's pounding me with his endless amounts of bullshit.
You got Cody, and then you got QT Marshall territory, which
Jesus.
Cody basically called him a bottom the other night. He called him his bottom bitch, basically. So
he is. If they released him, where the fuck else would he go?
I don't know if you heard the other night, but I don't know if you were listening still, but I called him. I believe the two unwords were unintimidating and uninteresting. QT Marshall.
That's a fair summary.
And he just sits there. He's got his shoulder. He barely has a neck. And he's just sitting there. He's standing there. He's got his shoulders all scrunched up, and he's complaining, I don't get you. And then Cody comes out and goes, okay, I'll give you a match. Here. Again, pity. He pitied him, so he gave him a match. Here's your pity match, bitch. By the way, I'm not even going to call it a match. We're going to call it an exhibition, and I'm going to do everything not to beat you.
That was funny too, because he was like, if I put you in a hold, I'm not going to lock it in too hard. If I put you in a move, I'm not going to make it hurt. Like, I'm just like he's treating him like he's going to wrestle like a child.
No, it's like I'm going to just put the tip in.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to be vulgar, but
dear God, I hope that head doesn't on it too. Fucking matching neck tattoos.
So I've got an idea. Okay, no, let's not do that. But I guess we should probably move on before this gets worse. QT bottom bitch. Shit. Anyway. Let's get into SmackDown, I guess. Let's now I will say when I took these notes, I wasn't 100% sure if Smark was going to be on tonight, so they're a little long, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim them down so we're not spending all that time, cuz I took super duper notes cuz I wasn't sure if you were going to join me tonight, Smark, which I'm very glad you're here, sir. Cuz now I can cut these notes down and we can get into the meat of some shit.
That's right.
That's right. I'm actually excited to talk about that little controversy with the Peacock thing. It's a good subject, and there's there's a division. Surprise! There's a big divide on it. So I know, isn't that surprising?
As unified as everything is on the internet, that's not surprised.
Oh, the internet, the paradise of this earth. Jesus Christ, worst thing fucking ever happened to this country, this world. Fuck this, not even this country. This fucking this planet. How's that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, anyway. Let's get rolling here with SmackDown. Let's get through it. Smark, we start out with Daniel Bryan out there. I love smart-ass Daniel Bryan. I really do, because it really comes... If you've ever watched Total Divas, Daniel Bryan is a real smart-ass to Brie.
Mm-hmm.
And he's even more smart-ass to Nikki, because he really doesn't like Nikki, and you can tell that when you watch the show. He's never said it, but body language, everything else shows. He's not crazy about Nikki. He thinks Nikki is like this, obviously just like, way too full of herself.
Well, I mean, you use the word vapid earlier. That's pretty perfect description.
That's 90% of the time, that's the word I use for the Bella Twins. Vapid bitches.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean that in the nicest way possible when I say vapid bitches.
Oh, of course.
I mean, obviously, the most PC way possible also.
Future Hall of Famers.
Absolutely.
Get ready for that.
You just gave me I just got nauseous when you said that. Anyway, again, I love Daniel Bryan, smart-ass Daniel Bryan. He said, Roman said he'd rather die than tap out to a guy like me. Well, good news! Roman's still alive, and he tapped out to me.
Right.
And they had played the video before that of Roman blatantly tapping out, which I didn't see that last week, I got to admit.
So he also kind of mentioned that there's something similar to that happened last week, too, because he had said that he would rather die than, lose to him. And he was like, well, I want to win this match, but I don't necessarily want to kill you. That wouldn't be. So I just
Well,
everything that he says literal.
Hey, he said, I don't want you to die, but if you pass out, it's okay. I remember that part. I do remember that part. We mentioned that last Friday. But I loved it though. Again, smart ass Daniel Bryan is great. Again, if you watch Total Divas, Daniel Bryan's really a smart ass at heart, and he's good at it. He's very good at it. And then after that, basically he's, I want a rematch with Roman, and he's not going to leave the ring until he gets what he wants. He sits down. He had a chair beside him anyway, so he decided to unfold it and sit your ass down. So he sat his ass down. We go to commercial. We come back. Pierce comes out, and he's like, dude, you can't really do this. We have a show to run. And he's right. They do. They have a show to run.
Didn't they get something like this on Raw? And I'm always disappointed when they have people sit down that they never just have them. They come back to them and they're reading a magazine or something.
Well, like when WCW had Jericho reading the list, and then they came back and he was still reading the list.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's number 803.
One of the greatest segments in WCW history, unintentionally.
He talked about that. He said what they did during the commercial break was he cut one of those old school heel promos where he just insults all the local sports teams. They don't show that part obviously, but he just talks all this shit about how shitty the town is that they're in. So when they come back, the crowd's booing, so it looks like he's getting this super heat.
Dude, brilliant.
Brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
He has a pure fucking genius.
He's a brilliant mind, man. AEW's lucky to have him. Very, very lucky to have him. So, anyway, Pierce comes out once again, said blah blah blah. He said, "Look, and we've heard this 1,000 times. The referee's decision is final. Something we've heard for a very long time. Reigns is still champion. Again, it's funny when they decide to stick with rules and when they don't. It's just got to fit their narrative and their storyline, and they'll stick with that motherfucker as hardcore as they can." So,
to their credit, as much as they play hard and fast with continuity and stuff, and they change stipulations around all the time and shit, and just book and rebook matches just to infinity and beyond. They, for whatever reason, really do like try their best to make whatever the referee calls matter. So, like, if there's like a weird thing where the referee counted to 3 and he shouldn't have, or whatever, like they always make sure that they like whatever the referee says goes. It's one of those weird things that they're really committed to when they're basically not committed to anything else.
Yeah, of course. Again, if the shoe fits, I guess. I see. Sam is asking, Sensible Sam. She's asking if there's baby sheep in the background. No, is there? I'm looking around. I don't even have a stuffed animal of a sheep. But anyway, I guess that's neither here nor there. I like baby sheep too. I do. They're awesome. Anyway, Pierce is out there. And Brian throws out this idea. He goes, "What about Roman versus Edge night 1? And I get the winner right after the match." And I got to tell you, here's one thing I'm happy they did, Smark. When Pierce was like, "No, you can't have anyone wrestle twice in a row," basically is what he said, Brian immediately brought up the double standard of the fact that he wrestled in the Elimination Chamber. I got to tell you, a lot of times they would have breezed past that.
Mm-hmm.
A little continuity never hurts a storyline.
Oh, absolutely.
So there you go. I'm really happy they did that. But Brian says, "All right, well, since you're being a little bitch, how about this? How about Reigns versus Edge night 1, and then the winner of that match I wrestle on night 2?" Edge comes out and was pissed, Smart. We got pissed off, bug-eyed Edge. Uh-huh. Just ready to fucking pop out of his fucking head. And then he tells Daniel Bryan, "You don't deserve the match at Mania." Bryan takes him down. Edge rolls him off, spears him, and then he grabs the chair and beats the shit out of Daniel Bryan. Good start to the show. Not a match, but still good start to the show. And again, we're hearing Daniel Bryan has a little bit to do with some of the creative going on now. If he's I would assume he's involved in his own storyline, which is why this storyline is working out really, really nicely. Obviously we end up with a triple threat at the end. We'll go ahead and spoil the end for you guys and just not even talk about it. But it does end up being a triple threat, and I believe everyone, I'm not going to sit here and say we did anything out of this world. I think we all knew it was coming to this.
Yeah.
We
talked about that Monday. So we were talking about the paper, not Monday, but Wednesday. We were talking about it. I was saying that the rumor was that it was supposed to be a triple threat. So yeah, that's what everybody had suspected. Everybody thought was going to happen. So it was nice that we actually did go ahead and get the formal announcement.
Yeah. I mean, it was heading this way the whole time with putting him in there for this, putting him in there for that. Very predictable, but you got 3 really good guys in this match and 2 fucking hella workers. And once again, man, I don't know if you heard me on Wednesday talk about the fact that, you got 3 guys here. 2 of these guys, 2 of the 3 in this match, 2/3 of this match had to retire early because of a severe neck injury and concussions, and Daniel Bryan because of concussions and, CTE. Both back in the ring, number 1, cleared to wrestle, number 2, and both in the match for the championship. Right in the fucking hunt, man. I said Wednesday, you really don't think about that until you see it put out in text form, in words, and think about it. Just amazing, man. You got what a fucking story,
Right.
What a fucking story. I mean, 2 guys you never thought would come back, obviously Edge and Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan especially, I thought, would never make it back. I mean, we saw Edge come back a little bit. He, for the John Cena, Seth Rollins storyline. He came back a little bit for this. But to see him back and cleared and back in the fucking title hunt is great. Obviously, seeing Daniel Bryan back, but Daniel Bryan's more the miracle because he reversed CTE, dude.
Right.
I don't understand why they're not literally grabbing Daniel Bryan, like fucking surgeons out there and doctors, and like, how did you do it? Please, how did you do this? What sort of holistic juju did you use? I don't know why, but he reversed CTE somehow with holistic shit.
I don't know. It's just something, I guess something about just hanging out in the woods long enough. Eventually, all the like pollen and tree sap and shit just like gets into your veins or something.
It's also very relaxing out there. I don't know.
Yeah, there you go.
It is. It is. It's always very relaxing out there in the woods. I am relaxed out there when I'm camping with the kids and shit. I actually, in a couple, less than a month, I've got a camping trip to go on a Friday with my son. I'll let you know when that is. I need to find out the exact date. But it's a fishing camping trip, so I am not going to miss that motherfucker.
Oh, yeah, that sounds nice. I like going fishing a little bit. I don't do it very often, but the times that I've done it, it's been fun.
Love it. I got a bass boat. I'm gonna get that bitch running. I'm gonna go out there in the next week or two and get that some bitch running. Actually, I'm gonna go out there for Easter. I'm gonna go out there for Easter, so I'm gonna see if I can get that boat running. I got a little, since I got my job, I can afford a couple batteries, a couple deep cycles for that boat. So I'm ready to take it out, man. My kids have been dying to take the boat out. My little one's never really been out on it once, and he's ready to learn how to fish. So I'm ready to teach him. All right, so right there, we just knocked out 2 segments, and we knocked out the main event. I like that, Smark. Look at us. Look at us. Putting shit together.
Oh, yeah.
So, all right. There we go right there with those 2. But again, it was very predictable where this whole thing was going with the triple threat. Glad it's finally official. Glad they made it. A lot of, again, man, I said this Wednesday, WrestleMania is looking good on paper, Smart.
I'm optimistic.
Both nights are looking pretty good on paper. Execution is another thing.
Oh, well, yes, of course.
So after that, we get Nakamura versus Rollins. Now, I got to say, Smart, I don't know if you noticed, but their ring gear was beautifully coordinated.
Yes, yes.
Both in the red and black. One had black and red. One had red and black. Very, very coordinated. I thought it was very, very, very nice. I don't know if they talked beforehand, but they came out looking good. They didn't clash. You know, you can't have colors clashing. So very nice, very eye-appealing, if you will.
You know, that's actually interesting that you say that, because sometimes when if I'll watch something that's from another company, like from another country too, I'll sometimes, because if you don't speak the language, it's harder to tell who the bad guy and who the good guy is. Mm-hmm. So usually I'll look for any sort of like visual cues that I can get, and a lot of the times it'll be the people that are wearing the lighter or the more like colorful outfits are usually the good guys. And then the ones that are wearing the black are usually the more bad guys. So like they both came out and they're both wearing the same exact shit. So it's like, well, not the same exact shit, but the same color scheme. So it's like, be interesting to see if like you were watching it for the first time and you didn't understand, like, well, who's the bad guy?
Yeah, but then again, if you literally typed in Nakamura's name, you'd probably find 800 pictures of him dressed in black or red. Or black.
I mean, that's his whole thing. He's been doing that forever.
Yeah, I mean, he's got that Michael Jackson kind of thing going on. So, well, I mean, that's his gimmick isn't Michael Jackson, but it is. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, I honestly, I think they were saying it's like kind of how he started to learn English. It was like he would like watch like Michael Jackson videos and shit.
Yeah, it's funny in that '80s group that I belong to. They keep showing that old. You probably don't remember this, but there's a Pepsi commercial out there.
Where he burned his hair?
No. Let's not. We don't have to talk about that.
Well, I mean, it was for a Pepsi commercial. Though.
It was. He did a lot of Pepsi commercials, but he did one where he was in the streets, and there was this kid dancing in the streets, and then suddenly Michael Jackson really comes up behind him, and he drinks a Pepsi and everything. They all dance, and everything's better. But the kid in that video is Alfonso Romero. Carlton from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
I was trying. I mean, that really is a fun fact. That's pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm doing my best, though, to try to muffle my laughter because you said that there was a commercial where a kid was drinking a Pepsi and then Michael Jackson came up from behind him.
Oh,
I was like,
stop
oh,
it.
No. Oh, boy.
He tapped him on the shoulder. It was the shoulder he
what?
tapped him on.
With what?
His finger.
Okay, well, okay.
Ribeiro. Thank you. Thank you, Sensible Sam, for correcting my poor English, which I have no problem being corrected on. I say shit wrong all the time. I appreciate it. And you're right. He does America's Funniest Videos now. That is him on there now. That I don't know. First of all, I do like him, but we did run him out of a bar in Deerfield Beach one night, really drunk. We didn't mean to, but it was karaoke night, number one.
He wanted to sing "It's Not Unusual" by Tom Jones. I understand.
No, someone did, and we kept trying to get him to do the Carlton dance, and he wouldn't. So we let that go. And then someone got up there and started doing the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air song.
Mm-hmm.
And he really got angry and just kind of left. We were chanting I forget what we were chanting. I was pretty drunk myself. We had been there for a good 4 or 5 hours before he got there. So we ran a few people out of karaoke night. There was a guy named Chuck. We ran out by chanting "fuck Chuck" for the whole song, and he walked out and knocked over the speaker to get out the back door. That's how embarrassed he was.
Like the idea that there's this like really tough, aggressive crowd for fucking karaoke night.
Dude, sometimes that was our bar, dude. We ran that fucking bar, man. We were the guys to go to if you needed something in that bar.
It's beginning to sound like that Thin Lizzy song.
Which one? Oh, I know which one. There you go.
Something about boys and something about a town.
Yeah.
And being back. I don't know what it's called.
The boys are back in town, and we were, man. We were, but yeah, we had some. We ended up running old Alfonso out of the bar that night. He was not happy with us, and it was my crew that did it. My guys, dude. We used to go to the bar with like 12, 15 guys. We didn't go alone, and our bartender, this guy Jeff, we would drink for and I'm not bullshitting. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours. We would go right after work sometimes and start drinking. We would get our bill. And again, 15, 16 guys. We would get our bill. It'd be $45, $50. Okay? So what we would do is kind of calculate. Obviously we had a bartender. You know what I mean? A bartender friend. So what we would do is we would calculate what we think we spent, and that would be his tip. Dude, that guy told us once that we literally paid his rent every month. Every month we paid his rent. This guy would get like a $200-$300 tip from us every night when we were there. Because we knew what we spent, dude. We knew what we drank. We knew. And he would just give us a little bill because he knew it was the best way for him to make more money off of us. He was a smart guy. That bar is now burnt down. Anyway. I watched it burn down on YouTube live.
Interesting. Was this like a part of a bigger...
No, it was it was on a news station. They were covering it, and I happened to pop on and see it, and I clicked on it on Facebook, and I was like, God damn! But yeah, dude, that old Jeff was a good guy. I'm not gonna give you his last name. Not gonna out him like that. No. But he was
Speaking of just kind of random things, Wednesday we had those storms that were, or no, you had those storms Wednesday around you. You had the storms. Yesterday around here, we had the same storms, like that system that was causing tornadoes and whatnot. Well, anyways, around this area, there was a insurance company that ended up getting struck by lightning.
Ooh.
Like their building got struck by lightning, which just seems like kind of slightly ironic.
Yeah, I hope they were insured.
That's what I was insurers. Like, do they insure their own building? Do they have like outside people? I spent all day thinking about that shit.
I believe you can insure through your, like, if you were a broker or something, I believe you can insure yourself.
Yeah.
Because you write policies through. Well, if it was was it a?
I think it was like a State Farm or something, like like one of those.
Oh, well, yeah, they probably got it through themselves.
Yeah, I would think so.
Wow, but keep going with this. Hit by lightning and.
No, that's it. It was an insurance place that got hit by lightning, and was like, wonder if they have insurance. That was the whole thing.
I hope so. I would think so. If not, that'll be a great news story we'll talk about. Obviously. Anyway, enough of stories of Boxman's drunken days. Wow. I could tell those all day, dude. I have so many of those, especially at that bar, dude. Oh, my God. I could tell you stories of old Krabby Jacks over there on Federal Highway in Florida. So many stories.
Krabby Jacks.
Krabby Jacks. That location burnt down. There is still I think it's still in business. There was another one that they built. But man, I had so many drunken nights there. I literally lived in walking distance of that bar. So it was some great nights. Nights where I couldn't even drive my motorcycle home. And I could walk. And it was tough walking home some nights, but I made it, sir.
There you go.
Anyway, I guess we can go back to the Seth Rollins thing. And Nakamura. We had a good match. Seth said I knew a Krabby Bill. But you don't want to know why he was called that.
You hang out with
shit. The funny thing was, this bar, I don't know why it was called Krabby Jacks. The owner was a guy named Mac, who I oddly named my dog Mac and didn't realize the owner of the bar was Mac. But anyway, that had nothing to do with it. The owner of the bar was named a Middle Eastern guy named Mac. I don't know where he got the name from, but bar lasted a good long time, and I have so many good memories of that bar.
Was it like close to any sort of bodies of water? I know you said it was in Florida, so like kind of everywhere.
Actually, not far. Federal Highway it runs pretty much literally. You can go from Miami all the way to Jacksonville on Federal Highway. It would take you forever. A lot of stoplights, but Federal Highway. Once you cross Federal Highway, when you're in South Florida, anywhere in South Florida, you're about a mile from the beach at that point.
Yeah, so maybe it had something to do with that.
Yeah, you're about a mile from the beach at that point. But it was, Federal Highway's it's a mile from the old A1A. And if you ever listen to Ice Ice Baby, he talks about A1A in there. And that's Beachfront Avenue. So good shit there, man. Good shit. But anyway, back to this Seth Rollins, Nakamura, all that shit. I mean, I get another good match between these guys. We did see this match last week. But I got to tell you, watching these little transitions Nakamura does, Smark, really a shame they don't push this guy more, man. Really a shame.
Yeah, I think so too. And I was like, and they had him wrestle Sunday too. They were on Fastlane.
Right.
And I feel like I don't know if it was that it really was, or if it was just that I had less to watch tonight than I did during Fastlane. But it just seemed like it was a better match. Like you're talking about some of the transitions that he did. He did that like knee drop on the apron from the top rope to the apron. He did that little like where you slingshot where you like slide out of the ring, but you do the like German suplex type move.
Right.
It was like that. A couple of people do that, but he just had a lot. He had got some really good offense, and he ended up losing, of course. But
well, he did that, and I mean, Seth picked him up to put him in a kind of a backdrop, and Nakamura flipped over and ended up, literally getting Rollins into a fucking arm bar. It's just when you see this guy do what he can do, you're like, how do you keep shoving? How do you not have something for this guy?
Mm-hmm.
He could literally just let him go out there, be him, and have good matches. What's wrong with doing that with Nakamura? You could put this guy with anybody, and he's going to have a good fucking match. So, as far as I'm concerned, he is.
I totally agree. I think it all goes back to the accent problem, which shouldn't be a problem, but they were saying that they had a problem for the longest time with Becky's accent.
Well, and
English is her first language, mind you.
I realize that, but when you have a guy out there, let's break this down. You have a Japanese star out there.
Mm-hmm.
He's from Japan. You brought him in from Japan. You didn't bring him in from Cincinnati. You didn't bring him in from fucking Kansas. You didn't bring him in from Minnesota. You brought him in from fucking Japan. The fact that he has an accent, you knew it when you brought him the fuck in.
Sure.
So if you have a problem with it now, it's a little fucking late.
But I mean, I feel like you could apply literally everything you said in terms of him having the ability, having the talent, being a good worker, and also you knew he had an accent. And when you brought him in, so why is it a big deal now? You could apply all of that to Andrade.
Absolutely.
So you were talking about him Wednesday. It's just like, the talents, all that shit's there. Like, that they're talented, they're charismatic, that they can work. You pluck them out of an environment, in Andrade's case, he came out of Mexico, he was with CMLL and all that, and, with Nakamura, he was coming out of New Japan, but it's like, you want these foreign stars, you want, the Japanese star, you want the Latino star, and then you get these people out there, and, you almost punish them for being them, even though that was exactly why you brought them on, was because who they are, what they could do for your company. Like, it continues to never make sense.
You're right. And honestly, you can say that about a bunch of guys. But then you got like a guy like Sheamus, who they see this star power in. He's got an accent too, but they like his accent. So, and I get it. He speaks better English. He speaks perfect English. Let's face it. He speaks perfect English with a little bit of an accent. But you knew. You knew. This is literally like buying something and you knew that it might not work. And then it didn't work, and you want a refund because it didn't work? No, you knew it didn't work. Okay, let me give you probably a stupid example. One time on eBay, okay, I've talked about the XM radio before. I bought 5 XM radios, the old Rode, way back in the day. Okay?
Were these like the ones that you installed into your car?
No, it was an external install. You put it in. You plugged it into a. It was an FM transmitter in itself.
Okay. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, you picked a radio station and it came through it. Well, as long as the radio station wasn't a station, you know what I mean. FM transmitter. You know what I mean. I bought 5. Okay, because mine was broken. I didn't read. Okay, I didn't read. They were broken too. Okay? But I didn't get a refund. You know why? I didn't read, but you know what? I should have known they were broken. And once I knew they were broken, I didn't ask for a refund because I fucked up. But the problem here, and again, probably a bad example because WWE didn't fuck up. They knew what they were getting. They knew what they were doing. They knew he spoke barely any English when he came here, and they knew that.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're going to complain about his accent? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't make any sense, but I mean, this is also the same company where Chris Jericho said that Vince told him that he couldn't be a face because nobody would believe that Canadians were faces. It's just like he's one of those type of people.
Goddamn foreigners.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
Shit, I mean, if being Canadian is punishable in that company, imagine being from anywhere else.
I mean, I get it, but
Yeah, Canada does suck, but I mean, every other country's fine.
I mean, they are America's hat, basically.
Canada, Norway can go straight to.
More like America's hat band. But anyway, we got Cesaro back tonight, Smark.
Yes, we do.
Finally,
Well, he had Seth with the post-match beatdown of Nakamura, and then out comes Cesaro to help him.
Dude, that pop-up, I don't know what else to call it, but the pop-up European uppercut, badass. Did you see the fucking air? I mean, I know Rollins helped him, but god damn, that motherfucker was up there.
Sure, yeah. I don't know what they call it now, because when he did it on the Indies, he would call it Swiss Death.
Right.
But you can't, Vince doesn't like moves being called death or genocide or any of this shit.
Or Swiss.
Yes. This is also true. So it's like the neutral knock of the head or something. I don't know.
Yeah, and by the way, wherever you're positioned right now, just fucking stay there.
That's doable.
I can hear you wonderfully right now, wherever you are.
Nice.
Yeah, and no background noise, no nothing. So just hang right there. Yeah, Vince doesn't like anything with European or Swiss or anything, but he tried to swing Seth, but Seth ended up rolling out of the ring because we did get that thing where right after it, Seth. I'm just going to go ahead and skip the next segment and go to the next one. Again, I'm going to tighten up my notes a little bit. Seth did say after that match that he will not be embarrassed or swung again by Cesaro when he was talking to Kayla Braxton back there. And even he called Cesaro a failure. I hate to say this, but when WWE starts shitting on a guy and calling him a failure and a loser, that's when they have a push in store for him.
Yeah, it's weird, but it's true. Like, the further they go out of their way to humiliate somebody, the more likely it is they're going to get a push soon.
It's like bad reverse psychology. It's almost like the old salesman takeaway. You know what I mean? You know what the takeaway is?
Not exactly, but if you explained it, I think I would know.
Let's say I'm selling. What do I got here? All right, boxes. Fuck it. I sell boxes anyway. Let's say I'm selling boxes. I go to a guy, and I'm trying to get him to buy from me, and he's got this big order. And I go, I could run this order for you, but I'm not sure if you really want me to, because, I might be a little more expensive and that, but, you still might like me. So what you do is you literally dangle it in front of them. I'll give you a better example. The boxes is a bad business to do it in. Let's say you have, I don't know, let's just go with fucking widgets. You go to the guy, you get widgets, right? And you're talking to him, and you're sitting there, and you're going, and you say, you need my widget. Why do I need your widget? Well, you know what? You don't really need my widget. My widget is no different from the other guy's widget. But my widget will have some better service. And the guy just sits there and goes, oh, great. And you go, you know what? I don't think you need better service. I don't really think you do. You don't need better service. You know what? Maybe you don't need this. Maybe you just need to go back to your other vendor. And the guy goes, well, why do I need to do that? And bing, you got him.
Yeah.
As soon as he says, why do I need... Well, why would I do that? You got him. Take it away. As soon as you take it away, they want it. So there you go. That's the old takeaway there. The old takeaway. But it's the reverse when you go to WWE. Because they reverse take away you.
But good. This guy sucks. And they're like, yeah, I guess they do. And it's like, all right, well, good. Since you don't like him.
Yeah. You'd be like, yeah, well, he does suck. And that's why we're going to literally tell you he sucks. And then what we're going to do is we're going to give him a really good push, and you're going to forget that he sucks because we gave him a good push. No, I'm not going to forget he sucks because you literally spent 6 weeks telling me he sucks. But anyway, let's just move on there. Now, I'm going to skip back a little bit here, Smart.
Yes.
We get Adam Pearce, and I got to tell you, I'm going to tie a couple more segments together here. I felt bad for Adam Pearce tonight. Adam Pearce got threatened once. He got bullied to make the right decision Whatever that decision was going to be. He had Edge telling him, you better make the fucking right decision or else. He had Roman Reigns telling him, basically the same thing, make the right decision or else. And I got to tell you, kind of feel bad for old Adam Pearce, old scrap iron, having to do all this bullshit and get bullied while doing it.
He makes me laugh because he's like, we talked about it before Wednesday about him like being a bitch, but he's like essentially the first ever authority figure that's just sort of middle management.
Right.
He's like the assistant manager. He's not even like he's there on the weekends because the actual manager like has the weekends off and he's just trying his best to get through the fucking day. He has all these angry people yelling at him. He's like, I'm just trying to do my fucking job. That's how I feel. I feel bad for him too.
Yeah, just try to do his goddamn job. But I got to tell you, if you follow Adam Pearce on Facebook, he's very interactive with his fans.
Yeah, yeah.
Very, very. Like, he will reply to you, and people are like, you can tell they're in awe. They're like, thank you for replying. But he's very interactive with his fans, which, an authority figure, you wouldn't figure that, but he is, and it is him. You can tell it's him just by what he's saying and the way he's saying it. But pretty cool of him, man. I know that was kind of completely off topic, but
when people were complaining about why does one person get to be in the Royal Rumble, the other person didn't, like he would actually respond to those tweets and be like, "All right, here's the parameters." Like, holy shit, you actually laid out the details.
No, he's very interactive on social media. He likes talking to people, and don't fuck with him though. Because he will fuck with you back. Mm-hmm. But very, very interactive, very respectful, obviously. So, pretty cool shit, man.
Nice.
Sensible Sam's. I like when MC Hammer replies. I didn't know MC Hammer was so interactive. I got to be honest, he's got nothing else to do. Nothing else to do. So, yeah, just sit there on Facebook all day and probably collect royalties.
I just picture that he probably just gets bombarded with messages of just like, can I touch it?
He was on one of those Surreal Lives too. We've talked about Surreal Life before.
Yeah, but he was supposed to.
All right. Let's move on here. Biggie. Oh, wow. Sensible Sam spit out her bear. I hope she means beer. Because if she's eating a bear, I'm wondering, where'd you get that bear meat?
I mean, fellow Texans, so.
I'm drinking beer, too. I have a Corona here. Not coronavirus. I have the Corona beer. I went to Walgreens last night on a whim. I needed deodorant. It's funny, we were talking about deodorant, and mine ran out the next day. And I went there. And all they had was seltzer beer and shitty beer, so I got Corona.
There you go.
Well, I should say seltzer beer and shittier beer, because you seltzer beer people are really weird. She has a Dos Equis.
Nice.
I like the Dos Equis.
That's very good.
There you go. Good shit right there. Good shit. So anyway, let's move on. Biggie. We get that match right there. Biggie and the Street Profits. Crazy way Montez came down to the ring there.
Just sliding down the entrance ramp on his back.
On his back on a pile of cups. Biggie and the Street Profits versus Apollo Crews, Chad Gable, and Otis. I got to tell you, I was a little... I'm not sure if disappointed is the right word. I guess I'm going to use it, though. Disappointed to see Big E just dropping right back into the comedy thing.
Yeah, I get it. Because, I mean, like, if you're going to have him have a serious feud with Apollo and the feud with Apollo is still going on, then maybe you kind of keep up that energy of him being serious. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I get why you'd be upset with that. Well, if anything, I was just amazed by it. It was like a tale of two entrances. That was like the big takeaway from this match, was how weird these entrances were. Ford sliding on the ramp on his back. And then it was such a very weird contrast. If you had Apollo coming out in his garb, because he's got, he's got his gear on. He's got the little scarf. He's got like I think it's a spear. Not entirely sure what it is that he has in his hand.
That's fine.
But so he's doing his gimmick, and he's like, he's this descendant of Nigerian royalty, but then like alongside of him is Otis, and Otis is doing the shit where he's like stomping around with his feet and just fucking jiggling and shit. It just looks so weird. Like, it was such a weird contrast.
Yeah, well, I mean, there was a big contrast in that ring either way.
Sure, yes.
But and I gotta say, Big E, when he did go down to the ring, once Apollo came out, did start looking a little more serious, so I was a little happy about that. Meanwhile, Apollo ended up pinning Big E for the win again. Mm-hmm. Not again, he didn't win the other night. But I got to tell you, let's see, I'll give you a little bit here. Dawkins and Otis start out. Now, Montez, once again, man, I mean, doing cartwheels, backflips, and I got to tell you, the highlight of this match was Montez Ford tonight. Mm-hmm. Definitely showed. I got to tell you, I worried a little bit watching this match, Mark.
Right.
Do you have the same worry I do here?
Well, I think so, but you can go ahead.
Montez Ford showing out like he did makes me think we're getting close to that Street Profits split.
Yeah, you're kind of posing that as a potential theory the other week too. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, the shelf life for all of those tag teams, anytime you're a tag team, the shelf life isn't very long. So, yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, they were kind of building the whole story of them trying to fight, prove that they're a good tag team and winning matches and shit, and trying to get another title shot. That was the story that they were in the last time, that
right.
The last big story. But I wouldn't be surprised if they do end up losing like a high profile match or number one contender match or whatever, and then suddenly things start to change.
Yeah, I just, again, I mean, look, I think Dawkins is very talented, great guy, obviously, but I see it, and I'm going to worry about Dawkins the same way we worried about Tucker. And where's Tucker? I didn't even see him in the 24/7 locker room when Bobby Lashley was getting those guys to, do the job on Drew. I didn't even see him there. Where's Tucker?
Well, that's the thing, is that Tucker was eating KFC in the 24/7 locker room, so that made him change outside with the fans. Did
Tucker not shake someone's hand?
Maybe not. I mean, Booker T's been around there like a lot lately. Maybe Jake Booker T's.
I don't know. I don't know what caused him to go into purgatory, but I mean, you got Otis, which Otis was obviously more the charisma guy, the comedy guy. Got the Chris Farley thing going. You could even say, I mean, Chris Farley was trying to be more of a, John Belushi character. So Otis even has that going on, a little bit of the Belushi, the heavier guy, but he's got those going on. And then, where's Otis? Oh, I'm sorry, where's Tucker? Tucker wasn't bad. He was actually an agile big guy. Why did you break them up again? Can someone explain? Can you explain, Smart?
Well, what's interesting is that they never even gave them, like, usually when the tag teams break up, they usually try to book both of them for a little while. And then the person that's obviously the Jannetty just kind of drifts away after a while. Like, they try to give them a push, and then it doesn't work, and then you just don't see them. Like, they just immediately skip to, you just don't see them with Tucker. It's just like, all right, he turned on Otis, and then literally that was it. Like, they didn't have a match. They didn't have a feud.
No.
They ended up going to separate companies in the draft, or separate brands in the draft, rather. And that was it for Tucker.
Tucker needs to find out who's got those pictures of Pat Patterson with a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And get those pictures so he can blackmail somebody.
I think Funaki still has it because he's still employed with them. He's just a commentator now. Funaki's been there for like fucking 25 years.
I don't know what he has. I don't know what he's got. Funaki's funny either way. But yeah, I'm telling you, those pictures of Pat Patterson with a woman are worth something right Come on, folks. Have a sense of humor, please. When you hear that joke, have a sense of humor about it. But Montez definitely is a long-term star in that company, in my opinion.
Sure. He's one of those people where it's like, I think everybody does it, but like, when you're watching wrestling and whatever, they're just opportunities where you just kind of look at your phone or whatever, just kind of lose focus, especially if you're watching a 2-3 hour show. Nowadays, when like everybody's prone to like skipping past commercials or whatever, you're actually just sitting there and watching just 2 or 3 hours straight with no interruptions. You have a tendency to just like kind of look at your phone or look at your tablet or whatever. But with him, like anytime he is in the ring, just straight up locked on, laser focused, because I know he's going to do something.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he is. He is. I mean, just I know they're going to originally kind of, once they split, they're going to make a little bit of a joke of Montez, but I think he'll pull through it. I think he's got the charisma, the attitude, the wherewithal to get through it.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so we'll see. Good. I mean, we saw Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens backstage walking towards the ring. There's going to be a Kevin Owens show, so we'll just get right into the Kevin Owens show.
This, I think, is going to have people talk.
What was that?
I said, I think this is going to have people talk. This is a little bit of a teaser.
A little bit here. And I like this. This was a good segment. Again, Owens always can pull out some good shit. Sami Zayn, great either way. These two together have a history of greatness, not only to matches, but build-up, promos, everything about their combined effort is great, if you will. Sure. So we get that. We get Sammy coming out immediately apologizing. This kind of says this conspiracy stuff is getting to him. Smark, is Sammy the QAnon of WWE, or the Q of WWE? Is that what he is?
I think so. Definitely some sort of a conspiracy theory guy, Alex Jones type something.
I almost think in a way he's making fun of the Q people, because again, he is a political kind of guy. He always gets involved in the politics. He, I'm sure, sees some of these stories going on about Q. And again, if you don't follow one Q thing somewhere for comedy, you don't know what you're missing. I promise you, you don't know what you're missing. They are wacko. But I almost think he's making fun of those people, in a way. And if he is, good on him. He's doing great at it. He said he's going to have a red carpet premiere next week for the documentary, and Logan Paul will be there.
Yes. Now, this is why I'm saying that.
Go ahead, please.
Well, no, I mean, I don't have too much to say about that, but I'm just saying that's why I think people are going to be talking, because I was already seeing people talk about it on Twitter that don't usually watch or talk about wrestling. I know Luke was a big fan of it because he said that's why I stopped watching this stupid bullshit, something along those lines. So I think people are going to be talking about it. I don't know if they're going to be saying good things, if it's for the right reasons necessarily, but I think they're going to draw themselves a little bit of publicity with this.
I think so. If I'm correct, this is the guy that's been controversial. Didn't he go to somewhere in Japan and go to the suicide forest and make fun of people? Was it him or his brother?
I always confuse them, and I'm not even sure who exactly they are, even that much.
Okay.
I just know that they're famous online figures that are basically famous for just being controversial.
I think they might have been Nickelodeon stars. Were they Nickelodeon stars? Disney. I apologize.
I know that much because I remember I read one of their Wikipedia articles, but I always forget which one's which.
All right, and I know Jake Paul is out there doing MMA right now.
Boxing.
MMA. Was it boxing?
Yeah, because he knocked out Nate Robinson. He's a basketball player, a former basketball player.
Well,
and I think he's got a fight coming up in April.
Now, I know he's been calling out Mayweather, which, if you watched Mayweather fight Conor McGregor, that's scary.
Yes.
Mayweather may be a shit talker. You may absolutely hate the guy for what he is, what he does, but he is a fucking killer when he's in the goddamn boxing ring. I don't care what you think about him. I'm not a big fan of his either, but I got to tell you something. That son of a bitch can fucking fight. He's fast and he is smart when he's fighting. He was landing, he toyed with Conor McGregor, okay? And then literally just started landing laser-sighted shots on him. Conor couldn't block one of them. He would kill Jake Paul. I think he'll kill him. Might literally kill the guy. So, anyway, I know it's Logan Paul going in. I don't know if he has the controversy that his brother does, but anyway, you're right. That's going to have some people talking. Either way, whichever Paul it is, he's going to be connected to his brother. Either way, it's the social media, thing. It's going to happen.
Right.
Anyway, let's go ahead and roll on from there. Now Owens basically is like, look, I don't give a shit about your documentary or your fucking apology. Sammy starts kind of freaking out on him a little bit. Owens gets pissed, and he's still looking for an answer, but he hasn't asked the question, Smark. He hasn't asked the question. Now, what do you think the question is, Smark? You know it. Answer it.
I don't know it. I wish I knew. What's the question?
You son of a bitch. It's Sammy. Will you take me on at WrestleMania? Reluctantly, and maybe being threatened a little bit, Sammy says, okay, I'll do it. I'll take you on. That's fine. So there you go. There you go. Owen says, oh, thank God. I was waiting for that answer. That's the only reason I didn't kick your ass, and now I'm going to. And he did. And he did. Again, I think we've kind of beat this segment to death with the Logan Paul and Jake Paul thing, but good segment otherwise. And again, I think we've pretty much covered it with these guys have a great history of having great feuds.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, definitely. And I think the fact that, it's going to be on such a big platform, the fact that it's WrestleMania, they've had a bunch of matches together, they've feuded a bunch of times.
Right.
The fact that it's going to be on such a big stage, and the fact that I think it's going to be an opportunity to still kind of prove some people wrong. I think that they're more confident than a lot of some of the independent people who actually let what Cornette says get to them. But Cornette basically did say when he was with Ring of Honor that both of these guys kind of weren't shit and they weren't going to make it to anywhere important.
Right.
So now they're both fighting each other, and they're fighting each other on WrestleMania. So I think it's an opportunity to prove anybody who thinks that way wrong too. Yeah.
It's going to be good no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what happens, it's going to be good. We've got it. I know we've only got a couple weeks left to build up, but I expect them to get a good amount of TV time to build this one up. So let's just roll on from there and see what happens with that whole thing. But I enjoyed that whole segment. Now we got Bianca Belair out there. She's going against Natalya, who has Tamina with her. I did miss some of this match. I had my kid was my older one was going on a camp out tonight. It was just a little bit of chaos during this time. He was getting picked up and everything was going on. So anyway, if I miss anything smart, you'll catch me here. Natalya really got a lot more offense than I expected in this match. This match was longer than I expected, number one. This match was way more offense for Natalya than I thought. So, wasn't quite sure what the hell was going on. But at one point, Bianca gets thrown out of the ring by Natalya, and Sasha's music hits. She comes out smart.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Now, Sasha did join commentary when we came back from commercial. She was there.
Much to the delight of Michael Cole.
Oh, of course. Well, it's boss time. You fucking cunt. Anyway, now Sasha was doing really good at being overly annoying on commentary tonight.
Yes.
I mean, middle school girl annoying commentary.
Yes.
And I know that's her gimmick. She's supposed to be. She did her job. But wow, this just came off more childish than good. I don't know how else to put it.
I get what you're saying. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, I don't know. Like, it just they always have to be like catty. They can never just be like wrestling heels.
Right.
It's like they always do like some level of like kind of like type of like late foolish type shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's never just like a wrestling heel. It's always just like catty, like reality show type business.
Yeah, and I mean, again, I mean, you got the real meat to this match was, Bianca was having a hard time keeping Natty down, and right before the match, she said, "Watch what I do here." Like, they made the match out like it was going to be a big squash, and the next thing you know, we're 20 minutes into a match with these two, and Natty's kicking out of 15 fucking false finishes, and it was just a little surprising because, look, I got no problem with Natty. I like Natty, but they don't treat Natty like that.
Yeah, I mean, and I think they're trying to make her look a little bit more credible now, and she's got the whole team with Tamina, and they're like trying to push them a little bit too. I think more than anything, they don't, like you said, they don't book her to be super strong, but they do establish the fact that she's a veteran, that she's been there and she's put in a lot of work or whatever. She's been competing at a decent level for quite a while.
Well, they
so
do.
I think the story. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, please go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm going to cut you off. Go ahead. I thought you were done. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was saying that I just think the story that they're trying to tell is like basically you have Bianca being the kind of younger, youthful person that's like a little bit cocky and a little bit confident, and just kind of has the pitfalls of somebody who is a younger wrestler that has achieved what she's achieved already so early. Sometimes they get a little bit full of themselves. So the story that you're trying to tell is like she thought she'd be able to just dominate Natalya, but Natalya being the veteran, she had some tricks up her sleeve for her. And if she's going to be struggling with Natalya, who's a veteran, Sasha's also a veteran, but she's at more of a higher level of competition. So it's like going to be a little bit more. They're building her being an underdog.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Natty's been there longer, and they're treating her great unless they saddle her with a farting gimmick like they have, which gotta tell you.
To be fair, when she is left to her own devices, she makes a bunch of weird pseudo incest videos with her sister. So, I mean, they're both attractive, but it's just those videos are weird.
They are weird, but weird.
They're wearing these like low cut dresses, and they're like touching each other's boobs and playing with each other's feet. It's just weird.
I know, and then you're like, man, I still wouldn't mind having them both in bed with me.
Sure.
It is what it is. But again, they treat Natty great until they don't. Let's put it that way. Until they don't. Now, again, the story of the match is Bianca's having a problem keeping Natty down. Sasha's making fun of her throughout pretty much the whole match. Now, Smart, at this point of the match, Bianca was having a hard time keeping Natty down. Did Bianca win the match or Natty win the match? I got the show locked up on me here.
Yes, Bianca won the match, and then Sasha attacked her after the match.
I came in and Sasha was just looking down on Bianca as she's looking up at the lights. So that's where I came back. Okay, so Bianca did win the match. Okay, good.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, good. Again, we kind of dissected that a little bit. I like that, though. I thought that was cool. Man, I got to get the old cable working better. Now, after that, Smart, we get Edge coming into Roman's locker room. I thought this was... I'm going to paraphrase the line and kind of tie it together a little bit. Roman said he almost respected Edge for the balls it took for him to come in their locker room.
Mm-hmm.
I liked that line. I thought it was cool. Almost respected him. Close to it. Almost. Just about there, Smart.
Right on that there verge.
Right on the line. I was just about to respect you, and then I decided not to. I get it. But I just thought it was a good little thing. I'm not sure what he said to him because my shit locked up again. But I don't know. Well, he said when I came back, it was Edge saying, "All right, now think about that." So, do you remember what he said to Roman to think about?
I mean, honestly, the full disclosure, I had to go to the bathroom. So
Okay.
we both kind of had our different snafus there, so I can't really help you too much on that one.
Okay, well, it still took Edge balls to walk in there, so let's just leave it at that. And then we
Yes.
get into kind of, I mean, we're going to get into the final thing. We kind of already went into the main event, so I'm not even the main, whatever you want to call that, the main storyline event. Not going to really get into that again. So this is going to be the last thing we talk about on SmackDown. Very little news to get into tonight. We're going to roll on from there and wrap this up. The last segment we're going to talk about is Ziggler Bobby Roode. Ziggler it comes down with Bobby Roode. He's taking on Rey Mysterio with Dominic. So it's not Dominic with Daddy this time. It's Daddy with Son this time. At one point, I saw Rey get powerbombed over the barricade, and Dominic's checking on him, and Ziggler kicked his fucking head off.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't look fake at all. Actually looked like Ziggler might have really connected with Dominic.
Yeah, could have been. I like, just as an example, I know that they showed a slow motion gif of Drew hitting Claymore and Sheamus during the Fastlane. And they showed his foot just going straight up into his face and just bam. So, I mean, that's been kind of happening. Sometimes they've been getting a little bit more of the move than perhaps they intended.
Well, you got Drew and Sheamus who are known for laying shit in, so that doesn't surprise me. But this looked great. I liked, even if it, and I got to tell you, I appreciate Dominic for selling it past the commercial break. Because he was still on the ground when they came back from commercial, and then he got up. But he was still holding his head for a good 5-6 minutes afterwards.
And then even before that, before he kicked him in the head, you had Ziggler just straight up just fucking powerbomb Ray just like right over the barricade.
Oh.
And he just fucking flung him.
He
took
did.
the head well.
He did, man. He did. That was good right there. Now, I mean, let's be honest here. You got Ray and Ziggler in a match. You got two bumping machines, basically, in a match. Ray will take a bump for anybody. Dolph Ziggler will over-exaggerate a bump for anybody. So this match was really a good, fun match to watch, in my opinion, for that reason. I liked Ray going for the 619 when Rude cut him off. Dominic jumped Rude. I believe he clotheslined him out of the ring. And then Dolph hits the zigzag using the ropes. I like that too. That was pretty cool. I like that. And then Dominic is holding Rude's leg so he can't break up the pin, and Ray wins. So,
yep.
Good. I got to tell you, not a bad SmackDown at all, in my opinion.
Yeah, I liked it. I'd give it a thumbs up. A little bit curious to see what they do in the ratings. Because like we were talking about, they were down the last 2 weeks. The week before, last week, and the week before that. So
yeah,
we'll see. End up bouncing back.
Yeah, we will. And again, it's just it's good to see Daniel Bryan doing whatever segment. I believe he has control over his own segments, and if he does, that's why they're honestly the best segments on the show. Mm-hmm. So good stuff over there on SmackDown. Whatever's going on, whoever's doing it, I'm enjoying it. I was surprised they were down as much as they were last week. But let's see if they come back. We'll find out. We'll let you know Wednesday. All right, Smark. How about some news? Not much to get into. Then we'll go ahead and wrap this up. I'm going to get into a quick small little subject, something we don't need to spend much time on real quick. According to Davey Boy Smith Jr., he announced that his dad, obviously the British Bulldog, will be getting inducted to the Hall of Fame this year. They did announce on SmackDown Khali was getting inducted into the Hall of Fame this year. I talked about that on Wednesday. Again, if you don't understand why you're young or don't get the fact that WWE is a business and he helped a lot in the India market. So anyway, I talked about that a little bit on Wednesday, Smark, obviously. But British Bulldog, people have been rallying, petitioning, I guess you could say, Smark, for the British Bulldog to be in there. Zero issues with this. Way too late. Should have been in there already. What do you got?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree that he should have been in there, and he should have been in there before this, and I guess I sort of get it for like some of the similar reasons of just like it being a business decision, like as the same reason they put in Khali, but like they also tend to not want to put a lot of people in, or at least a lot of people at once who have died prematurely. And, the way that he did it, because, he had, a history of like, drugs and steroids and things like that, that ultimately I think ended up leading to some of the problems that he had health-wise. So, like, obviously when you put some, it's just he's one of those people that were from kind of a different time when, they didn't have the wellness policy and whatnot. So you start putting groups of guys like that in there all at once, and you start kind of getting a bit of a negative light shown upon your business practices and your company or whatever. So I guess they kind of tend to not put a lot of those guys in, or a lot of guys that did that and stuff like that in at once. And I kind of get it, but you get the problem with that is that you get people who deserve to be in there. They often end up having to suffer. Or they don't end up being, inducted until much later than perhaps they should have.
Yeah, we got SSBC in here telling us that he was supposed to be in the last year's one, and he's right. He was. It was supposed to be announced before the pandemic hit was JBL, British Bulldog, and Jushin Thunder Liger. So, but again, just because they decide to put someone in a year before does not mean that they're going to do it again. They didn't change their mind. They didn't get backlash. There's so many fucking reasons they could decide to go ahead and just be like, nah, let's not put him in, So, looks like they're going to this year. And again, people have been lobbying, petitioning, and flat out begging WWE to put him in. I'm glad they're doing it. And again, overdue. So, I'm going to leave it at that, Smart, unless you got any more.
No, I think that about covers it. Like, obviously should have been in it, so I have to think that he is.
Yeah. All right. There you go. Now, we got two more little stories before we get into the meat and taters of this show. WWE is going to be moving, now, I would say moving Thunderdome, but with them having fans coming back at Mania, they may be doing away with Thunderdome. I don't know. We don't know what they're doing. They know what they're doing, but obviously they don't have to tell us yet. But they are moving from the Tropicana field right now. Not right now, but very soon, which they recently moved to just very soon, very recently, 4 months ago, to the Yuengling Center. So, once again, they're moving. Where is the Yuengling Center? I didn't look that up. Do you know where it is, Mark?
I'm not entirely sure. I'm doing a quick search here.
I will do it right now. It's, again, South Florida. It's in Tampa. It's an arena on the campus of University of South Florida, USF. So, once again, kind of looks like they might be doing kind of a Full Sail thing with this place, too. Who knows? Who knows with this deal? You might see another, not NXT, but another performance center coming out of this.
I mean, it's a pretty big venue, if that's what I'm thinking of here.
I'm looking at pictures of it. It's a damn big venue.
Yeah, I'll post one in the mix if anybody wants to take a look at it. But yeah. It does seem like it's a full-on, like venue. It's probably a step down from Tropicana because that's a fucking giant baseball stadium.
Yeah, let's see. The maximum capacity of Yuengling Center is 10,411.
There you go.
So that's not a small amount of people. Not always what WWE would run, but I believe they've ran here before. So not listen, 10,411 at a house show. If you can get fucking half that, you got a good crowd. Especially when house shows were, a thing. I know they haven't been in a while, but we'll see what happens.
Well, let's see. It says in the old Wikipedia article here,
Ooh.
WWE has hosted several professional wrestling events at the Sundome. I guess it was formerly called the Sundome.
There you go.
It hosted Saturday night's main event for the first time in 1985. Hosted the pay-per-view Royal Rumble in 1995. March 24. Oh, yeah, this talks about how it's doing. But yeah, so it's hosted a couple of shows there. Yeah.
All right. I thought so. I thought I've heard that name. Now, this isn't supposed to happen until April 12th, which will be the first show to air on USA Network from right there from Yuengling Center. So we'll see what happens. I'm very curious as to what they're going to do house show wise after Mania, since they're going to have, a third of the max capacity of the Ray something arena, whatever they're in. The max capacity of that. What was that?
The one they're in right now?
No, the one they're going to be in for WrestleMania.
Oh, that is the fucking Sun Devil?
No, the Ron Johnson or something like that.
Raymond James Stadium. Okay.
Ray James. There you go, right there. There you go, right there.
I don't know how I managed to get Raymond James out of Ron Johnson, but we linked up together there, so that works.
Is Ron Johnson one of those? No, it's Ron John.
I think
Ron
I'm like fucking Miami Vice.
No, I was thinking, that's Don Johnson.
Don Johnson.
I guess I mixed up Ron John, the old Florida surf store.
Okay.
But the max capacity of that arena is 75. They're going to have a third of the audience, 25,000 in there. So I'm curious to see what they're going to do after Mania. Are they going to start, since they have, since they have a little bit of clearance, and there's a lot of states right now that are lifting mandates.
Mm-hmm.
If they started in Florida, they could do the Florida run, that whole, Gulf run up that, up the whole Gulf, and still be, I don't know what they're going to do with house shows. I'm very curious to see after Mania if they start having fans at house shows, go back to house shows, or if they're going to keep the Thunderdome thing going and start charging. I don't know.
I'm curious too. I mean, I don't know, like we were talking before, and it's a little bit different, but we were talking before about how they're making a lot of money now because they're not having to do house shows.
Mm-hmm.
So theoretically, maybe the idea of just staying, static, stationary in one venue and not having to pack up and move around every week is like helping them financially. So maybe they want to hold on to that for as long as they can, or maybe just make it so that like only the pay-per-views or only the big pay-per-views they perform in front of live audiences. I'm not sure. I mean, it's speculation at this point.
It may be helping them financially, but I got a feeling it's killing a lot of the talent morale backstage, because those house shows were the shows they would go to have fun. I mean, I was playing video of I forget, I think you were here when I played that, of Big E out there doing the power of his cock was knocking people down, the power of his hips, sorry. So they have fun on those house shows. I don't know if they're coming back or what, but we'll find out. I'm curious to see what they're going to do after, especially with the move to this arena. So,
Kind of interesting. So, somewhat in relation to that is they the WrestleMania tickets that they have put on sale, they still haven't sold out. They've been on sale for like a week or so now, maybe a little bit more. It's interesting because they haven't sold out for either of their nights. But the UFC tickets went on sale today for UFC 61. And this is 15,000 seats, so it's less than what they want to do for WrestleMania.
Right.
But they sold out in minutes. Like they say, they sold out almost instantly. And it's kind of interesting because it's like UFC is obviously probably a bit more popular these days, but it's like we're talking WrestleMania, we're talking like the biggest event they have, given it's 2 nights and it's a little bit more expensive or whatever. But we're talking 2 nights WrestleMania versus one random just like UFC show. And like the UFC show sold out fucking instantly, and they're going to be indoors too.
devil's advocate, UFC's been running shows for the past, 5-6 months now?
They have, but they haven't been doing them in front of people.
Yeah, they have.
Are you sure?
They've
been doing those Fight Island gimmicks.
I think he was on some weird fucking island doing shows with people.
Yeah, but because they do Fight Island, but that's like isolated. That's not like in front of people proper. It's like trainers and things like that. I'm talking about like actual fans, like full capacity fans.
Man, UFC is just a different animal.
It is.
I really hate compare. And oh my God, dude, I know we're going a little long tonight, but I was on Facebook the other day and I saw a guy in an MMA thing post, "When did you learn that that UFC was fixed like WWE?" What? Really? Seriously? Huh?
Fixed, but I would say honestly, that's the problem with them not having like round by round judging or live scoring, as they say, is that sometimes if it's like a high profile fight, I really wouldn't be surprised if they like specifically occasionally make it a draw or make it in favor of one person or just make it so that a rematch is possible.
Listen, I've seen some bullshit.
Old school fixing. I'm just saying,
I know. I've seen some bullshit go on in the UFC back when I used to. I admit I haven't watched UFC in a very, very, very long time. I used to be pretty religious in watching it, but I just haven't lately. But I've seen some bullshit go on where I'm like, but I mean, I've seen some of these guys and ladies come out of these fucking UFC bouts, beat the shit, like lumps on their head, and no, it's not the same thing. This shit is not scripted. Again, you may get a match or two here that they're looking to push I hate to say fucking storyline, but push something to make more money at it. To make more money. Maybe.
That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that it's rigged or fixed. I'm just saying there are certain opportunities that they could potentially have where, judging being subjective, it might be more convenient to, all right, if somebody wins tonight, they get to have a rematch.
I could see Dana being like, look, you take the fall, the next match you guys have will be much, much more money because that's where we're looking to go here. I could see that. But every fight, absolutely not, dude. Those lower card fights, those guys, believe it or not, when you watch UFC, if you watch the pre-matches, the lower card fights, those guys are looking to kill each other. When you get into those like skinny dudes that are out there, they watch them. They're looking to kill each other. They are not looking to, do a fucking storyline. They're looking to kill each other. So I don't know. I saw that like yesterday, and I was baffled by the stupidity of the person. I guess I shouldn't be. So anyway, let's go ahead and move on real quick. I got one more storyline, then we're going to get into the meat and taters, and we'll just not talk about the that last thing I said if we have time. Well, I'm going to go ahead and close that actually. Stephanie McMahon, Smark, was appearing on a podcast, Bloomberg, Business of Sports podcast. Bloomberg is owned by Mike Bloomberg, who recently ran for president. And they were talking about once power is turned over, when Vince McMahon steps down. I think we've said before we don't believe Vince McMahon ever will step down. He will probably sit and die with a pair of fucking headphones on his head. But I'm going to give you, it's not a long article. I'm going to read a little excerpt from it right here. Again, asked about what would happen when Vince would step down. Stephanie said basically she admitted that no one person can replace what Vince McMahon brings to the table. Her quote was, "I don't think there will ever be a person-to-person replacement for Vince McMahon. He does too much. The landscape would look different however it shakes out." And, of course, she brings up her husband and stuff. But let's go ahead to another quote from this little piece here she did with Bloomberg. "I do think," and again, a quote from her, "I do think a lot of the institutional knowledge is important, particularly with regards toward the core content. But it's also surrounding our business with strong, smart executives, and that's exactly what we have. So I don't think it's the marriage of institutional knowledge. The incredible production value, the creation of talent, IP, and storylines, and really strong business executives to help us expand. I think it's a combination of things." Now, Smart, let me ask what you got from that little paragraph there. What'd you get from that?
That she doesn't speak like a human.
There's that, number one.
It reminded me of that, like when we were reading that Nick Khan article, and he used the phrase linear eyeballs. Nobody has ever used that before or since.
There you go. There's one. Now, I'm looking at this, and what I'm reading is, we're just going to trust Kevin Dunn and his crew to keep going what's going. That's what I'm looking at in here. She's literally talking about how everyone else really, and Vince is just kind of the, but it almost seems like she's just like, we're just going to let everyone do what they're doing and it's working. Kind of, that's what I get from this answer. I could be wrong.
I mean, I think more than anything, they're just trying to put over like the people that they've hired in the last couple of months or year or so that we've been talking about. They got all these new people that they brought on to help run the business. I think maybe it kind of implies that once Vince is done, however that might come, that they're going to start letting the people who are in charge of, there's going to be less micromanaging, essentially, is what I'm going for. Because right now, Vince, it seems like Vince is pretty much doing everything. Like people suggest shit, but then ultimately everything is his call. I feel like with Stephanie, she's kind of implying that it's going to be a little bit less hands-on, that people who are given assignment to a specific departments are actually going to be able to do their jobs without it being like, "Oh, that's stupid. I don't like that. Get out of here."
Right. You're right. And that was exactly what I was going to say. It looks like she's going to be way more hands-off with this, but that can be good and that can be bad. You also have people writing for your show that are former soap opera writers that don't know the wrestling business. The only way this is going to work is if you let them interact with the wrestlers on their storylines, which Vince doesn't like doing. So that's the only way you're going to ever have any difference in this show. Otherwise, we're going to get the exact same stuff, maybe worse, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, I could agree with that. But then that also depends on, like you were saying, kind of what the relationship between the wrestlers and the writers are, or what it would be, in that post of Vince atmosphere.
Right.
Of if you have, the writers suggest this idea or that idea, the wrestlers are like, well, this part of it's good, but I think maybe you should do this, or whatever. It depends on how collaborative the environment's going.
It does. But I don't know. I still think we're a long way away from that. So just what we have is what we got. So,
Oh yeah, he'll be around for another like 8 decades. That man is a vampire.
absolutely, man. And they've got a lot of money. So Jesus Christ, look at fucking what's his name? The prince in not the prince, but whatever. One of the guys in London, they're damn near dead.
Prince has been dead quite a while.
Yeah, let's not even bother with that. Let's get into the meat of this show that we've been waiting for, that we didn't talk about Wednesday. I wanted to wait, see if any more info came out on all this. And another reason, I'll be honest, I kind of wanted to digest it a little bit with all these things that WWE Network moving over to Peacock, with Peacock editing some stuff. Again, I don't want to call it censoring. I know I did in the little cold intro of the show. It's not really censoring. It's editing smart. Mm-hmm. Some of the things they've taken off. Let me go ahead and get into this right here. Now, just get into this. WWE has about 17,000 hours of content that needs to be reviewed. So there's going to be a lot of things that they may deem offensive in this day and age, which is fine. Let's be honest here, Smart. Are there other ways to find the matches that you are looking for? If it's, let's see, one of the, you know what, let's get into a couple of these little alterations here. A very famous scene, or whatever you want to call it, with Roddy Piper and Bad News Brown. They were having a feud. Piper painted half his face black for the feud.
Yes.
They edited that whole thing out. It moves. Just passes the match, goes right through it. Another part that was deleted was WWE CEO Vince McMahon, who we just talked about, using the N-word with an A, not hard R, towards John Cena. I've actually played that before. Vince McMahon being hip back in the days. That's one that was edited out. Now, Smart, what do you think on all this real quick? I mean, give me 1 second here. I'm sorry. There's a whole little thing here between censorship and editing. That there's a very fine line between the two. And that's kind of the argument. I see the slippery slope we're going down here. Where do you stop? Where do you stop? I get it. What do we edit? Why do we edit it? Who's deciding what's offensive and what's not? I get that. I do. But there's a lot more to it, which is why I want to get your perspective on this first.
What? I'm trying to find the exact quote, though. It's one thing. I'm not going to add on a fight for the inclusion of people saying racist shit or doing borderline racist things. But okay, that's where, like you said, the slippery slope becomes established. It's like you start with one thing that most of us can agree on, and then next thing you know, suddenly it's like, it starts becoming things that are a little less cut and dry, start getting edited too. And I don't like the idea of them saying, it's like, okay, we're going to review all of this content and make sure that it lives up to our standards. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, I don't want you, if I'm paying you money to see this, I don't want you telling me what I should and shouldn't be able to watch. My fear before was, even when they were just announced this, that they were going to be moving to Peacock, was honestly, my fear was that they were not going to include, or they were going to heavily edit ECW stuff. Mm-hmm. That's what I was worried about. That's what I was afraid of. So far, that hasn't been the case. It may or may not be later down the line, but I was a little bit surprised that they started specifically with some of the WWE stuff. But at what point, like you said, does that become what all do they decide to leave in? What do they decide to edit out? And then it becomes a whole, like you said, it becomes a whole slippery slope. Do you leave in like the fucking Kate Big thing?
Right.
Do you leave fish barking like a dog? Like there's a lot of real questionable shit that has happened.
Please leave
but
that.
I mean, some of it, like it happened, and like you just kind of, I don't think completely ignoring it is the right way to go either.
I'll agree. There's going to be a little bit of a agree and then, a little more here. I agree with that. Leaving it out doesn't show that this company has flaws. I definitely agree with that. Because if you don't know the company has flaws, you think it's this perfect company, and they're getting the history change that they've always kind of wanted.
Right.
But, and here's where I'm going to go here. This is a network. A network. If you've ever watched a movie on a network television station that has bad words, they bleep them, or they had a little thing in the 90s and early 2000s where they would just change words.
Oh yes.
Yeah, especially when you're watching, I've got a little. Let me just put it this way: if you were to watch movies like, and I do have a little list here of movies, RoboCop, Showgirls, The Big Lebowski, they're edited for television. So, if you didn't expect this to happen when they went to a network, you might have been a little delusional, okay? I don't expect them to leave in things that are going to be offensive right now. I didn't expect that at all. If you really want to watch it, if you're that hard up to watch it, there's ways to find it, and you'll find it. I know you will. There's something called torrents out there. That's one way to get it. So you can watch it. But some of this stuff was already edited on WWE Network. Listen, you can't go to WWE Network and watch ECW with the same music.
Sure.
You can't. It's already edited stuff. Now,
Well, I mean, yeah,
Right.
I know what you're getting at. That's kind of two different arguments there.
and that's more of a copyright issue.
Different circumstances. Because like it's one thing if it's like intellectual property. I think people are more understanding of that.
Yeah, hold on one sec. Move forward a little, or however you were positioned when you were clear.
Yeah.
But perfect. Go ahead.
No, I get what you're saying about that, but that I think people are more understanding about like intellectual property type shit versus where you're making, where it's like literally like the license came up, we can't afford to, or we don't want to like relicense this shit. Sorry.
Right.
Like, I feel like people are a little bit more understanding of that versus a matter of like people deciding somebody else's like what's suitable for them.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And again, it's copyright stuff, it's this and that. Now, I know I'm more of the, not more. I'm the conservative on the show. I'm very for free speech and this and that. I know. I am. Absolutely. 100%. But when it comes to something like this, when a network pays $1 billion or whatever they fucking paid for this network, they probably have some rights. And again, it's a network. They have been editing movies since forever. You should have expected this, number one. And you shouldn't be pissed about this. And number two, the fact that they're editing out racist stuff, is that a bad thing? And if you're fighting for that, you might want to take a look in a mirror and really just kind of saturate yourself a little bit in what you're thinking. No, I don't care. And again, if you really want to watch this, there's ways to do it. But they've been doing this forever. This is not this is not a big issue. People are making this a big issue, but not thinking about why they're doing it. This company paid for something. It's a network. network television company. They edit things. It's what they do. If you're shocked over this, you should look again. Tons of movies over the years have been edited. Did you ever watch Scarface? When every time they say fuck you in Scarface, they made it thank you. Hey, thank you, man. Thank you, you son of a bitch. I'm going to tell you what. I'm going to take your mother and I'm going to thank her. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to thank the bitch.
Right.
It's what they do to movies. Take it easy. Take it fucking easy. Stop, think, and realize business, network television, this is what's going to happen. If you're really that confused about it, then just don't even comment. Please stop commenting.
Right. And that's something that kind of scares me as a whole, honestly, is the idea of like you said, that's how they do movies on TV. But for the longest time there, with it being on the internet, anytime you would like watch a movie on the internet, watch a TV show on the internet, it was kind of just anything goes. Mm-hmm. There wasn't the censorship there. And that is definitely something that I'm worried about, is you're going to start potentially running the risk of, companies, streaming services or whatever, where they start censoring things or editing things because it's too violent or there's too much profane language or whatever. And then you're basically like kind of running under the same laws and rules of like the FCC on television and shit. Mm-hmm. If you look at like YouTube as an example, YouTube doesn't censor anything necessarily, but they demonetize shit that has swear words and whatnot, potentially questionable content and material. So, it's kind of the same thing.
Right. And again, that word censoring, they're not censoring. They're not. I didn't like using that word in the cold open, but it was just kind of came out of my mouth. They're updating to fit with the times. And again, you don't have to agree with it. I get that this is a very slippery slope because where do we stop from here? I get that. I get the fact that, well, who's deeming it offensive? Well, I believe we all deem racism offensive. If you really need to see Rowdy Roddy Piper dressed up in half blackface, fine. Go see it. You can probably find it on YouTube. You can probably find it. Again, there's something called torrents out there. You can find it. You can probably find that whole fucking feud on a torrent if you look for it. But there's no reason to be upset with NBC or WWE for doing what a network is supposed to do. It's a network. They've been they're a network. This isn't USA. USA is cable. You have to actually have cable to watch USA. You can get a pair of fucking bunny ears and watch NBC, though. The Peacock, that's the Peacock right there. You can get a fucking pair of bunny ears and watch that shit. So you think they're going to fucking risk their reputation and everything just to have some bullshit up there because some little, internet troll decides that they need to see Rowdy Roddy Piper in blackface or Vince McMahon use the N-word to John Cena? Mm-hmm. I don't think so. I don't think they're going to risk a fucking violation or a fine by, like you said, the FCC. I don't think that's going to fucking happen. I'm sorry. I don't think it's going to happen, though.
Right. Yeah. And that's just the thing is I think there's this uncertainty right now of just, what is it? Where are they going to stop? What is it that they're, and right now it is just racist stuff, but which I totally agree with. Okay. Yeah. Get rid of that. But then where do they land on fucking Mae Young giving birth to just stuff like that.
That's racy. It's not racist.
Right, yes.
There's a big difference in racy and racist. That might be disgusting. That might be gross. That's obviously impossible to happen. But let's face it, you've seen worse than that on network television.
Right.
In prime time. In prime time, you can see worse than that on television. But there's just no reason for it. Again, they're not going to risk getting a violation. They're not going to risk getting a fine. It's just, I think everyone's making really too much out of this. This is not a First Amendment violation. This is nothing like that. This isn't censorship. It's nothing like that. It's being way drawn, just blown out of fucking proportion, in my opinion. And again, I think people might be surprised to hear me say that because I am the conservative, and you're more the liberal on the show. But I'm not pissed at anybody here, anybody except the people that are sitting there literally wanting to keep racism in their wrestling. I'm mad at them. I should be.
We want to preserve racism in our race.
Gotta keep that racism. The South's gonna rise again.
That's right.
Yeah, gotta keep. I need to see old Piper in blackface. It was funny.
Which,
Now,
by the by, he told a story about that. He couldn't get the paint off of his face when he took a shower. And I forget if it was a rib that somebody made it so that it was thicker and harder to get off or whatever, or if it was just the type of paint that they were using. But he had to walk through the airport that night with that shit on his face, because that was in this book. I haven't gotten around to reading all of it because it's
and even in his book he says that was not meant to be a racist thing. It was meant to be. He was actually trying to be unracist in that bit and say that, listen, black or white, it doesn't matter. I'm going to kick your ass. Mm-hmm. That's really what he was doing, and it's kind of in his book that was his message. The message did not go that way, and let's face it, in 2021, putting on that blackface is just not accepted.
Right,
you don't have to agree with it. You may think it's censorship. It's not. But you got to fucking live with it. You got to live with it. I saw people losing their motherfucking minds over this.
Yeah, well, and that's another thing too. Is just right now there's a lot of uncertainty because it's a new network, just as a whole,
right?
And then to transition from one network to the other network, and the fact that they haven't released, and I mean that's in conjunction with them, looking through and making sure there's an objectifiable things, or the word that's close enough to that. But
objectifiable. I got you. You did it right.
Objectifiable. There we go.
There you go.
It's too many syllables.
Objectifiable. Blah 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 blah. Go ahead.
But no, basically what I'm saying is it's it's a new network. So anytime anything is comes up, it's kind of the end of the world. Or people have that mentality of see, it's different, so they're fucking it up. But it's just right now people don't know. People don't know how much of the old content as a whole is going to make it. They don't know how if all the old SmackDowns are going to be on there, if all the old Raws, the old pay-per-views, the ECW stuff, the Smoky Mountain stuff, just whatever. They don't know how much of that is going to end up making the transition. Theoretically, all of it should, sans the stuff that they don't find suitable for consumption anymore. But it's just that fear of okay, you're taking stuff away from me. You're not giving me new stuff, but you're taking the old stuff that I may or may not have watched, but you're taking it away from me.
I get it. All right, you're taking, you're taking my memories. Well, get your memories somewhere else of your racist stuff. Sorry. I'm sorry. It's again. You really have to think. What hill? And Sensible Sam, you're right. Cancel culture is a virus, but this is not cancel culture. It's not. It's not cancel culture. It's not censorship. It's not even First Amendment at all. It's literally a network adjusting stuff to fit the FCC standards. Again, you get a pair of bunny ears, you can get this. I know Peacock is a different thing. You have to have an internet connection and this and that. I get it. But they're still a network. They still have standards. They've still been the same thing for tons of fucking years. And again, I could go through so many movies Here, let me pull this back up real quick. I know we're coming close to that 3-hour mark. Leave us alone. How many 3-hour shows do we do anymore lately? Really? Seriously, how many? Not many. Showgirls was one movie they edited. Let's keep rolling here. Splash. They edited Splash, the 80s movie that never really showed one boob at all. They edited Splash, okay? Mallrats, oh my God. You want to talk about a movie that's edited? Watch Mallrats on network television. You will be pissed off if you are a Kevin Smith fan in real life. I promise you, you will be. And again, watch Scarface. Watch Scarface on those channels. Snakes on a Plane. You ain't getting no motherfucking snakes on no motherfucking plane, Smark, are you?
No.
No, you're probably getting, something way different than that. Die Hard 2, a movie dear to my heart, because Dennis Franz, Andy Sipowicz from NYPD Blue is in it. Mm-hmm. Again, though, a lot of language in that movie. All cut. I'm sorry. I mean, Hot Fuzz, Usual Suspects. Oh, my God, I love that movie. RoboCop. Edited. And there's tons more that you could keep going with. It's a way of life.
I think that becomes a fear, too, though, is like you're saying, for television, that shit's edited. But then the internet, it becomes a whole different thing. Is I think there's people like me that are afraid. I'm not saying with this. I'm saying just in general. That eventually we're going to end up with like Netflix being capable. There's a titty, they get blurred. If somebody says the F word, it's beeped.
Okay,
that kind of stuff.
Okay, but this isn't Netflix. Number one.
Oh yeah,
this is not Netflix. Number one.
Saying in this specific instance,
this is a company.
Bigger fear in general.
This, you know what? Give me 1 second here.
Sure.
Let me just look up one quick thing here.
I really want to be clear to say that I support them removing racist stuff. I'm not trying to be the person that's arguing.
No. You're playing a bit of devil's advocate here, which I actually like. When was NBC started? NBC has been around. Okay, 40s. You're talking about a company who has roots in this country since 1926. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay? You're talking about a company who has roots in this country since 1926. I get cable is a different beast. I get it. But they still have standards to live up to. Okay? They are a network television station, which has to live by standards. They've had the same standards since 1926. They are, yes, standards change. Yes, this station has changed. I get it. But they're not getting rid of blood yet. If they start getting rid of blood, we can complain. If they start getting rid of, Steve Austin with his bloody face against Bret Hart, if they get rid of that because it's too violent, we can complain. When they're getting rid of racism or stuff like that, I don't see how you can really. There's no defending. There's no justifying. You know what I mean? You can't. Especially when, again, a station has been around since the fucking 20s. The goddamn mid-20s, Mark. You can't justify it in that way. They have standards they have to live up to, or they get fined, or they get, all kinds of shit happening to them. You think they're going to get a fine for WWE? You think they're not going to have someone comb through every bit of their fucking, shit and see what they need to, get rid of in order to, just blend to their standards? No. You gotta, again, we're talking businesses here. We're talking business deals, money, cash.
And I think they would do themselves and I don't think they will because I don't think they give a shit. But I think they would do themselves a service if NBC or whoever runs the Peacock comes out and says, well, I mean, obviously NBC, but whatever, the person in charge comes out and says that they do this with all of their shows, with all of the content that's available on Peacock. Because I could see people just personally being offended, where it's like they feel like they feel like they're being attacked because or what they like is being attacked or whatever. Where it's like, oh, you don't do this for your other shows, do you? And if they have somebody come out and be like, yeah, we do, I feel like that kind of nips that in the bud too.
Well, you could always just watch NBC for a day and be like, oh, look, there's no racist stuff on there. Gee, I wonder why. I mean, I don't know, man. Wrestling fans have got to be the most crazy bunch. They're trying to defend racism, dude. They're trying to defend blackface. They're trying. No, it ain't gonna work. I apologize. And again, I know some people might be like, "Well, you're a conservative. You're probably a racist." No, sorry, I don't agree. Don't agree. But anyway, smart. I think we've delved into a lot of fucking shit tonight. We got a little deep on a few subjects tonight. What do you think, man? What do you got?
Yeah, I think that about covers it.
I think it does, man. I think we did a fucking good job tonight. I think we're going to go ahead and knock out plugs one more time. Oh, shit, I closed the plugs. What did I do that for? I've had one of those days today, Smart. Did you ever have one of those days where you're driving home and you're going, I wish a motherfucker would cut me off today? You ever have those days? Okay. I think I might have lost Mark here.
I know. I was just saying, yeah, I definitely have those days.
There you are. I had that day today. I was driving home from work. I didn't get to leave work early. I had to leave for a delivery because they had an emergency. And I was just driving, and I'm thinking, man, I wish a motherfucker would fucking cut me off and get out of the car and try to fuck with me today. I don't know why. And then I picked up my THC vape, and about 15 minutes later, I was fine. Well, by that time I had made my delivery and I was on my way home. I had to go to the bank and then I went home. So I was good. By the time I got to the bank, I was good. I was making the girls in the bank laugh, so I felt good. They weren't laughing. They were laughing with me. I promise.
Oh no, I believe you.
They don't always, but sometimes. So
that's always the worst when you try to make a joke and somebody just stares at you.
Exactly.
Like the last time that happened to me, I tried to get like a video game or whatever. It was behind one of those, bulletproof glass jiggers, the glass doors. So you have to get somebody with a key to unlock it or whatever. And I got the guy to do it, and I was like, "Yeah, I need your help on unlocking this, cabinet so I get this game because I kept hitting it and it just won't give." And he just stared at me, and I was like, I wasn't really fucking pounding on the glass.
Yeah.
Like, at least a sympathy would have sufficed.
Yeah, a little bit. But, all right. Smart. It is time to take your drunken ass home, sir.
Indeed.
Let's go ahead and roll it. Oh, excuse me. And let's knock out these plugs. Once again, I'm starting out with the high marks. If you're not checking out G Wiz, Mojo, and Cheeseman, you are missing out. Where can you check them out? Mixer.com/Metal Mint Network. That's right, 2 T's in Mint. Mixer.com/Metal Mint Network. When can you check them out? Sundays, 8:30 p.m. That is Eastern time, because that's really all that matters. Us Central Time people are fucking pieces of shit. You guys really should think of us like that every now and then. So anyway, go ahead and do that. And check them out once again. High Marks, Cheeseman, Mojo, G Wiz. You know where. I just said it. And, of course, Bobby Anthem, Bobby Blades, the Inhumans. Check out those boys right there on the Inhuman Experience. Again, I think they're going to have a lot to talk about soon. So you might want to go ahead and subscribe on all the usual podcast platforms to those guys. And, of course, the Everything Unscripted podcast. You got Eric, you got Doug, you got Daniel. You got all the crazy characters on that show, and you want to be listening. Find them on all the usual podcast platforms and on Blog Talk Radio. Start typing in Everything Unscripted podcast. It will pop up. And Steve Milan, appreciate you sharing the show, man. Letterboxd, boxt.com/Stephen Milan. 2 L's in Milan. Over there reviewing movies. Check him out. You want to. You can follow us on Spreaker. You can get us on YouTube. You can get us on Anchor, Stitcher, iHeart, Spotify, Google, Smark. Go ahead, please.
All right. As always, be sure to check out Cheese on Sports Mondays, 8:30 on the Metalman Podcast Network here on the Mixler Machine, and Sundays, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be sure to check out the Motor City Machine Guns with Mojo and Dirk. And last, never least, check out our friends at the Planet Party. It's a Planet Rack Underwear podcast with Bobby and Papa Dave. Sincerely, nasty all. 16 episodes are available for your listening pleasure. Be sure to check them out. Be sure to subscribe for season 2, which is on the horizon.
There you go. Get subscribed. Be prepared. And that's what you need to be doing over there. Smark should have himself a new microphone by the time we do this show Wednesday. If he doesn't, I will motherfucking send him one, because I have an extra one here, actually, that can connect to USB. A good one, actually, if you need it. Let me know. And there we go. Everybody, chat room, appreciate you guys joining us, sticking with us, staying with us. Anyone downloading this show, greatly appreciated. Please share it. And there we go. I'm tired. I've had a few beers. I've had a few shots. Mark, I will talk to you Wednesday, my man.
Sure.
All right. Everybody else, enjoy the weekend. See ya.
Adios.
Do it yourself. Take your drunken ass on. Yeah, we're going over. We're going over.